the NL side was last night. I wanted to start off with last night's game.
Yeah.
Because the Broncos are the Chiefs' opponent coming up in a week and a half, or a week from Sunday-ish. 3:25 next week. I'm sorry. And maybe I'll regret these words next week when they play each other. If you were going to try to convince me today that after watching Denver for the second straight week, if I'm supposed to take that team serious, why? Bo Nix stinks. And I mean that. I mean that with my chest. Not like he'll get better. He's no good. He is not a good quarterback. He is below average. He's not awful. He's not out there looking like, Kenny Pickett for the couple of snaps he took last night. He's not terrible, but he is certainly not good. And they are not a good offense. The Raiders' defense is bad. They had struggled a huge chunk of the year. Their defense controlled the entire game. Mm-hmm. Nick Bonito was a stud. They had problems. And look, am I a little afraid of Nick Bonito in a week and a half? Sure, that's fine. But like, in what universe are the Chiefs losing to a team who I think genuinely had to work hard to get 10 points last night while constantly be gifted the ball back by their defense? It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't fear them.
No,
I know they're 8-2, and I don't.
You shouldn't fear them. There is something I think to be said. How many years did we have the conversation before Mahomes got here about Alex Smith and the value of the quarterback win, and what it ultimately all means? Like how much
winning matters. I'm not saying it's not nothing, but
no, and you could tell that they're coached up better than they were before. They're more disciplined than they were before, and they continue to find unbelievable ways to pull off close games. I think part of that matters, but if you're asking me purely from a talent level, purely from an experience level, the Chiefs should beat them both times they face each other. And I think the betting public and I think sportsbooks, if you're looking at it as a metric to try and evaluate where everybody views Kansas City relative to Denver, the Chiefs are still the favorites in some books to be able to win the division. I don't look at it as anything they should be afraid of, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they split the series because Kansas City also has the ability to do that too and lose games that they absolutely deserve to win.
I know.
Should win.
It did against the Jags and some others. It's just, and I know they have 8 wins. I know they're 8-2. I really genuinely understand that.
But they do feel like they kind of have that horseshoe up there, and it's just, you pull it out and all of a sudden there's rainbows.
I mean, last night's game was one of the ugliest football games I've watched all year.
Yeah, but good teams still have to win those games, Cody.
Absolutely.
I don't think they're a bad team, but they're not on the Chiefs' level unless the Chiefs bring their level down to them.
I think what the issue I'm having in the sense that I think they're winning both games against the Denver Broncos, despite the fact that, again, their defensive line is very good. Nick Bonito created pressures on what felt like 80% of the snaps last night, and they ruined Geno Smith's day. I'll point out the Raiders' offensive line is quite bad.
Yeah, it's garbage.
The Chiefs' offensive line is significantly better, although we don't know if it's going to be Jalen Moore or Josh Simmons at left tackle. We probably won't know that for another week. We won't have any sense of the way they're or what Jawan Taylor's ankle looks like. I think the reporting is that he's probably fine. The thing that I'm having a hard time getting past for them is I've watched Bo Nix now play probably 5 or 6 times this year where I've seen a decent chunk of his play. He has not, in any of those games, looked good, except for like 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter when he
and then
turns it on.
Back, right?
Yeah, and so there's been a couple of tiny windows of time, and when he looks good, but I'm having a hard time erasing the first 3.5 quarters where it doesn't look like his team can move the ball. And some of this is not his fault. I don't particularly like their weapons. The number one wide receiver being Cortland Sutton is not like a dangerous team. When Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant and those are your second and third best weapons, you're just not deep offensively. So some of it genuinely is the fact that I don't think that they're deep enough offensively to cause real problems. Man, I watched that team last night and no chance until next Sunday will I be taking Denver serious because there'll be no game in between it. I'm assuming the Chiefs are going to win by, 7. Now, I will say Denver's got a good chance. They're good at making the game ugly. Heis. So I'll give them credit there. Does that count for something?
Yes, at home. Although, again, going back to what I talked about before, do you know what the line is for next week's game? What would you guess it would be in Denver?
5.5.
5.5 to the Chiefs?
The Chiefs.
It's a little aggressive. No, it's 3.5, depending on where you look. Which is
I was thinking maybe last night's game swung it a little.
It could have, yeah. It's every indication that this is how they view the Broncos.
So at home, they'd be a 5-point favorite because it's 1.6 points to the home. Is that what they say on this end?
I'd say it would probably be anywhere along between 4.5 and 5.5. Yeah. But again, there's not a fear both from the betting public, from Chiefs fans. If you talk to Chiefs fans right now, I don't think they're afraid of any team. And this is,
I know it's weird because they're 5-4. I get it.
They're 5-4, but it's everything that went right that shouldn't have gone right happened last year. They're kind of on the wrong side of like the luck metrics from what we've seen this year. Like they've just had some games that probably in most other years would have flipped their way. Jacksonville game, there was an opportunity that we expected them to win. They didn't win. The Buffalo game, probably most years. I know that they've had their struggles against Buffalo in the regular season, but there's an expectation that they win this game.
Losing a game in Buffalo is not like that one doesn't bother me.
It shouldn't.
Other than they didn't play.
It's the Bills Super Bowl every year.
And they didn't play well. So, okay, it bothers me a little that they just played a bad football game.
No, if Mahomes goes,
Buffalo
if Mahomes goes into Denver and for the second time, in his career, his NFL career, he throws for under 50% completion percentage and multiple interceptions.
Sure, then we'll have a conversation.
Then there's absolutely worth having a conversation. But I don't think there's an expectation that that's what's going to happen. It felt much more of an anomaly as opposed to this is a concern.
I mean, admittedly, the Raiders are awful. And that is obviously skewing my opinion on this because they're the worst team in football. Maybe. Or they're one of the worst teams
in Broncos, football. Let me give you a comparison's sake. Like, two games that the Green Bay Packers, which I think many people look at them in the NFC as saying, like, if you're looking at a team besides maybe the Eagles, that Chiefs, if they're looking ahead to a possible Super Bowl matchup, should be concerned about. Maybe the Rams at this point are also part of that conversation. Lions. Those are those four teams. But the Packers, especially this year, the loss at home to Carolina, the loss in Week 3 to the Cleveland Browns. Like I see
the Broncos escaped those games.
Correct. But I see a lot of similarities there between the team that plays down to their level of competition. And Denver has had some great opportunities this year where they've gone and just demolished teams that they probably should have played a little bit closer, given everything that we've seen from them this year.
But
you can't do that against Kansas City, especially if you're now the top dog and Kansas City is chasing you. I mean, that's just a reversal script that we're just not used to and are accustomed to seeing.
Even if they win the division, here's the thing. Even if Denver wins the division, which they certainly have a good shot at doing, they've got a 2-game lead in it. Although I do like that the 2-game lead can be erased by games in which you play them.
Correct.
So you can completely wipe it out and have the tiebreaker simply by beating Denver. Then you only got to be better than them in the other games.
Right. And then the concern about the Chargers no longer really exists from the first couple weeks of the season.
It's not, honestly, here's the thing about the Chargers is, if the Chargers' offensive line was healthy the entire year, I actually think they would be a decent threat. I would very much consider them a chance to win the AFC West. My problem is I've watched them a couple times this year without their 2 starting tackles, and it ain't good.
No.
Right? And so I think that they're just a different team. I just don't think most teams can't survive without their 2 starting tackles. And
it does feel like it happens to them every year.
Yeah. And so, like, I actually think the roster construction on their end's not bad. I think they got hurt. And that's unfortunate for them. Broncos just feel like they've been hit with the luck stick. 13-11 over the Jets, 10-7 over the Raiders, 18-15 over Houston, and 33-32 over Giants are 4 of the wins they have in winning 7 consecutive games. I don't know.
If you're looking
I don't know.
Well,
man.
If we're actually looking at luck rankings, which is a metric that the Team Rankings puts together, the Broncos are tied with the Tampa Bay Bucks this year for the luckiest team in the NFL. They have a 1.7 luck rating. Kansas City is bottom 6 right now, minus 1.2. Only teams worse than them, they're tied with Baltimore and Dallas and Miami. Only teams that are worse in the luck ratings are Houston at minus 1.7 and the New York Jets, which is par for the course. Ask Vinnie about that too. Vinnie, are you surprised that the New York Jets are the most unlucky team in football? No, it's happened my whole life.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Vinnie. You know, he gets named Vinnie, sees Vinnie Testaverde exists, and then unfortunately for him, has to spend a lifetime being a Jets fan. Although in fairness,
I think DG Jets.
Well, we'll get an opinion of him and the Jets moves and what they're going to do with those picks. Yesterday, Schefter wasn't trying to even tamp down the fire that they would try to use all those picks to go trade for a guy like Joe Burrow. Even though I'll admit, that seems like a bit of a stretch, at least on that end. We'll talk about that with Vinnie coming up in 20 minutes. Plus, an injury in the NFC that looks a little bit different, that's now maybe casting some light into a decision I think would be wrong. But we got you in.
Yeah.
Drew's here. Feels like a good time to talk a little college football for really 2 things at once. One, I want to talk about Indiana in a minute because I think their story closely aligns with what other schools like Missouri and Kansas and these others would love to emulate, because Indiana's football history is that of one of the worst Power 5 teams that ever existed.
It's not one of the worst. It's the worst.
They have
They're
the most losses.
losingest
Yeah.
program in college football history.
And now they're the number 2 ranked team in the college football playoff and would, as of today, have a bye going into the college football playoff and would be one of the teams who'd be expected to have an opportunity to win a national championship. So it's insane. I guess part of what's interesting about this is Indiana did what you're supposed to do. You found success and a guy, and you just do whatever you can to pay him. And I can't, like, Missouri is in big trouble because they are going to have to fight really hard to keep Trinkowitz.
Yes.
Like, it is going to be a dogfight. LSU is going to call, and Florida's going to call, and these other schools are going to call, and they're going to offer a ton of money.
And they should call,
and
by
a
the way.
bunch
I
of
think he's
resources.
deserving of those opportunities.
But it's like, it's going to be hard for Missouri to keep their guy. In Indiana, at least, maybe they just found the right guy, then Signetti doesn't want to leave. But, like, they already locked up their guy, and they at least get to sit on their hands for a little bit. And if you can establish yourself as a program, then you can attract a better coach if it comes that way. I don't know where Missouri is. If Drinkowitz left, what level of coach they attract, I think they might unfortunately be back in the, like, where they hired Drinkowitz, who wasn't a, like, that wasn't the biggest name.
It wasn't the biggest name, but it was a strategic move with some. And I remember too, as somebody who follows Indiana football very closely, with somebody like Signetti, they completely changed the process for how they look for a head coach. They did the same thing in basketball, where they actually went a little bit more analytically driven and found several trends that aligned with winning programs across multiple sections of college sports. And the other thing, too, that they found in Signetti that I think is what's more fascinating, besides the part that Missouri could be looking for their version of it if Drinkwitz decides to leave, is every program right now that is on the fritz trying to evaluate what sucks, maybe with the exception of Wisconsin, because Wisconsin is going to keep Luke Fuka for another year and then just add more to their athletic budget. I remember a conversation I actually had when I used to work here back during the 6-10 days, and John Smoltz was on, and this was actually something productive that John Smoltz said as opposed to what he said on television for the last several months.
He's not the world's
that's a whole conversation. But he said it to the point of, like, when teams are chasing power or teams are chasing velocity as baseball started to evolve, that you can't just get Steph Curry. Like, Steph Curry is the greatest shooter that ever lived. You're not just going to be able to find that in the form of 100+ mile per hour pitchers or guys that are going to hit 50 bombs. Maybe one exists, but you're not going to constantly chase it. The Signetti effect in college football has changed how big time programs are evaluating what they're expected to do with a head coach and then turn it around. There's no leeway anymore, Cody. Like, he did it in a year. He just got rid of most of his program and just brought in guys from his old program at JMU, filled it in with the rest of transfer portal guys, and made it work. 95% of the time, it doesn't work. So you're chasing a system that is set up to fail, but because it worked for one guy, that's what every other college is now trying to obtain and chase.
I think Heis, that's a really good point, because what Curt Cignetti's kind of done is what Dion was saying he was going to do, I think, in some ways, where he came in, he's going to bring in everything, it's going to change. But
Signetti just wasn't a Richard about it.
Correct. Which I think it's interesting.
Although I did like his opening press conference, he said, "I win. Look me up."
I win.
Google me.
He did say Google me, and there's a funny backstory behind that too. But yes, it's true. He wins. You can Google him. You can look it up.
I feel like too for the way that, to your point about what he's done, is he has now all of a sudden started a trend of not only with NIL, but now that Curt Cignetti's proved it, you can win anywhere if you have the resources. That's why Matt Rule is staying at Nebraska. That's why if Lane Kiffin stays at Ole Miss, if you're Lane Kiffin, why would you leave when you have Ole Miss as a national title contender? Maybe because you think a Florida job is better or whatever, but
it's purely ego at that point.
But is it really a better job than what you have now? Which I think why Curt Cignetti didn't leave was not only did he get paid a little bit more, but I have got this team to be in a better spot than where Penn State is currently. Why would I leave and try to redo the entire thing that I've done when I've got what I have right here? And Indiana's they're dedicating more resources.
Because Indiana is the argument, but like college football changed a lot. NIL helped.
It's changed so much in the last 2 years.
It is not solved.
You can win anywhere.
It is not changed the imbalance because, like, I mean, we can just go through the conferences and the national champions. It hasn't fully changed the imbalance. I had said this before, Heis, and I do really mean this. In order for me to genuinely believe though, that NIL is working and you can win anywhere and jobs are the same just as long as you got them up and running, and that you shouldn't go run for Florida or Penn State where you could get money and get resources that you know that will exist through time. I actually need one of these teams to win it. I can't have another Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame champion. I need a team like Indiana to win it, to prove to the rest of the league that you can just stay at a job, win at a job, and win consistently there, and actually win a national championship. Because if you're just Kirk Ferentz and you just sit at your job and you win, but you don't go anywhere and you can't win a title and you're just kind of stuck at, well, then college football's the same.
I think
Like, it can't just be a 1 or 2 year thing. You got to actually like close the deal.
So you're saying for sure championship is how you evaluate it, not necessarily college football playoff appearances, getting your seat at the
It's weird
table.
because like that's such a small sample size of what college football's been. It's like making the NCAA tournament. It'd be hard for me to imagine that if nobody ever from a smaller school, and smaller being like not the 10, 15 schools you can name who won the national championship.
Right. It's not like
the
St.
last 15
Peter's like getting to the Final Four.
No, I don't like
Elite Eight or anything
Indiana's
like
the
that.
number 2 ranked team in the country.
Right. And have been for the least, the last 5, 6
and
weeks.
we're a college football playoff team the year before. And so like, but it can't just be, because then that's just still college sports. College sports it's the only sport, I think, other than Premier League soccer, sometimes it does this, that celebrates not winning anything. We did it. We won some games, and it was more than normal.
Or we didn't get demoted.
Yeah. We didn't get demoted. Nailed it. And you're like, it's the only sport that's like, you didn't win the championship, and they don't care if you win your league sometimes. They don't celebrate. Like in the NFL, nobody really celebrates winning your division. They care if you want to, like, an AFC championship or a Super Bowl.
Right, there's no champagne post-game celebration.
Yeah. So like it's the only one, like baseball at least celebrates divisions. They are at least proud of that moment.
Which, by the way, if you go from last to first in your division in the NFL,
Yeah.
you should absolutely get a champagne celebration.
Yeah, sure. But it's like football or college sports in general. They like, you'll see how many times you'll see 8-5. 8-4. What a year. Really did. I'm like, what did you accomplish? You got to the Alamo Bowl. You beat a couple of decent teams. Okay, you won 66% of your
Coach
games.
is trying to get an extension. That's what's happening.
But it's like
a surprise.
But because college has an imbalance, I actually don't think it's wrong in a weird way. Because the system is designed for you not to win.
Right, or if you're a
Or it
team,
hasn't been.
correct. But I think it could apply to the NCAA tournament too. If you haven't made it in X amount of years, and it's the program's first time in a decade or two, then yes, celebrate it. It shouldn't be the end all be all, but feel confident about it. I was trying to think of teams that you were talking about that were not amongst the Michigans and the Georgias and the Alabama. What about Washington from a year ago? They didn't win it, but they came up.
Made it.
Made
I'm
it.
saying it's getting closer.
TCU. From a couple years ago, but everything else, it's been Georgia, Oklahoma. I wouldn't put in that conversation either. It's basically been Ohio State, Clemson, LSU 1 year, and that's pretty much it. So you're right. Like having a little bit more parity at the top would help that argument, but it is also like I look at Indiana this year based on who they've played and say I think they can hang with Ohio State. Who else is left in the way? And going back to the point too about Coach Drinkwitz, if you're Mizzou, and I know that the conversation from Mizzou fans is like, well, they paid him this year. Yeah, they paid Cignetti last year too. When you have a coach that's a commodity, they're in the driver's seat. They control every opportunity. If another team calls, then it's all about the buyout and whether or not they feel like they can have a better option in play and if they have the budget to do it. So just because they paid him doesn't mean that he's going to stay. He has all the power right now if he's getting offers elsewhere. It's just a matter of whether or not Mizzou has the resources to be able to make it happen.
And I don't know if you agree with this, Heis, but to me it feels like this year is similar to what Cignetti went through last year, where let's say Missouri makes the playoff and Penn State comes with an offer. I think Drinkwitz leaves. Last year, Cignetti had just made the playoff and everything like that. They finally make it in. Best year in Indiana history. If Penn State were open last year and offered, I think Cignetti leaves. But the fact that he stayed, rebuilt another season where he is now inside of the top 3, and not only got the extension, but it felt like he had solidified a baseline and a foundation for that program to succeed going forward. Missouri, I think they've had back-to-back 10-win seasons.
Yeah.
If they make the playoff this year and LSU were to come calling, I think he would leave and not think about it. If he stayed and Missouri made the playoff again, it feels like maybe that turns into a situation similar to Curt Cignetti, where he's like, you know what? Maybe I can win at Missouri. I don't need to go anywhere else. And this job has all of a sudden become one of the best ones in the country. Why would I leave and go rebuild something in Florida or try to clean up a mess at LSU where there's more pressure as January comes?
You got to deal with the governor
jobs.
there, too.
It is really interesting. Yeah, no kidding. It's interesting, though. Cignetti, if you look at what he's done compared to other coaches at big jobs, he has done this season already what James Franklin really never could do, and that's beat Oregon or beat a big team.
Win a game against the top 5 team.
He already has done that. Brian Kelly, what did he do at LSU? He really didn't do much of anything. Cignetti's already done better or more, you could argue, during a regular season at Indiana than when Brian Kelly has done in a regular season at LSU to this point. Like, it feels like those jobs, and it's because of the coaches that the jobs are so good, I think, is the main point. Like, if Cignetti left Indiana probably goes back to whatever it had been before. It's not like people are attached to the school as much as the head coach. I would go
to a deep, dark place.
I gotta say, college
the
football
craziness
is
of college
interesting
football.
about that. Is that the coach does? It is one of the few sports where like the coach might mean as much as the players.
Nick Saban at Alabama to a level. Alabama, of course, is still good with Kalen DeBoer, but the coach their coach is the face of the program.
Nick Saban at LSU.
That's the way it's always been.
That's just because people leave in 2 or 3 years, and
100%.
now with transfer portal sooner than that. So the coach is the face of it. But at this point, Cignetti's essentially indicated he's not leaving unless it's going to be for like one of those jobs. Because there are still, I will say,
it'd have to be Ohio State or Bama now.
Say, you can turn down Penn State in those. There's a couple that I have a hard time imagining. I like Alabama. I just don't think anybody turns that job down.
Honestly, I was surprised.
Crazy. But given what he's done, I can understand it.
Do you also want to follow a legend? That was what I was thinking about for Kalen DeBoer.
He'd be following Kalen DeBoer, so he wouldn't be following
Kalen DeBoer. When Washington moved to the Big Ten, they would have been. I mean, it's a geographical disadvantage to be playing in Seattle and then having to have most of your games in the Big Ten. So I understand the move, but you're still trying to. It felt like a no-win situation for him. You're replacing Nick friggin' Saban.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have the James Franklin resume, which from all accounts was a very solid resume for 12 years at Penn State.
Yep.
Like winning football every year. And
he had the 5th highest win percentage, I think, out of any current football coach, and he got canned.
Yeah. So like what exactly are you chasing? Mm-hmm. What is going to be good enough? I would love to see Drinkwood stay at Missouri. I don't know if the resources will be there and if the offer comes in and he feels like he can take it and run with it. The other thing too about Cignetti, he's older.
Yeah.
64 years old. It was like when K-State hired Chris Kleiman. Like, I don't think he was that old, but this was somebody that probably wasn't looking to just jump in.
It didn't feel like somebody you were going to instantly lose.
Yes. Somebody that, and again, I that's honestly, if you're looking for the next Cignetti, like find a guy that's been winning everywhere, not necessarily the next hot name at a bigger school. Find the guy who's got a program in place, who's had assistants stay with him forever, and be willing to move to that school once everything comes together, because they had stability even when most of their roster had turnover.
And college basketball worked with Ben McCollum too, so we'll see if whether or not that transfers outside of there. When we come back, we'll be talking to our NFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantino. He can win a Silver Slugger tonight, but what does he think about all those Jets moves, man? Sauce and Quinnen Williams are gone.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
FanDuel is putting you in control right from NBA tip-off, because every day to start the season, you get to choose your reward. Take your shot with the Profit Boost token. You can play it cool with the no-sweat bet, or you can get a little backup with the Bet Back token. So what I like to do is I like to pick 3 players that I think are going to score at least 20 points. It gives you something to cheer for. It gives you something to root for. So you can put a little bit of extra sauce on it with the Profit Boot token, or you can just play it easy. You can play it relaxed with that no sweat bet. Whatever your pick is, whatever your strategy is, get into the game and play it your way. Head to FanDuel.com/KFNZ to make it your choice. FanDuel is an official sportsbook of the NBA and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expirations, league requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement. Kansas Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
You know, there's millions of people without the health insurance they need. I get it. You feel like it's too pricey, a headache to deal with. You deserve something better. And better health. We're on a mission to get everyone high-quality, affordable health insurance. You have health insurance needs. We have plans with low out-of-pocket premiums, with in-network preventive care at no cost to you, and a network of local doctors and hospitals. So if you're still shopping for health insurance, go to ambetterhealth.com/enroll to get your free, no-obligation quote. That's ambetterhealth.com/enroll. For coverage to start January 1st, you must enroll by December 15th. Find the plan that's right for you right now. ambetterhealth.com/enroll. Ambetter Health, on a mission for better. Ambetter Health is the brand name for health insurance products underwritten by subsidiaries of Centene Corporation. Go to ambetterhealth.com to see offerings in your state. This is a solicitation for insurance.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a lot more.
And I completely agree. That's why I'll pay more for your car at GiveMeTheVin.com. That's the name of our new campaign. I'm worth more. You are worth more, and your car's worth more. And that's why I will pay more. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100 at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Straight Talk knows the best holiday gift is simply saying yes.
Yes, you can stay up late. Sure, more cookies. Of course we can watch that movie again.
That's why we give you real unlimited data, so you can say yes to all of your family's streaming, scrolling, and sharing. And now at Straight Talk, get another gift worth giving, a free 5G phone with select plans. Because yes is the best gift to give.
Yes!
And receive. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Not available in all states. Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary. Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program may only have to pay back a mere fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it could end your debt nightmare and save you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. For free information and to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, simply go online and visit DRA.com or call 800-474-1811. 800-474-1811. That's 800-474-1811.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
J. Rieger & Co. Straight Bourbon Whiskey, winner of Best Craft Bourbon at the 2025 Ascot Awards. At 90 proof, it's rich, well-balanced, and oh so good. quality crafted in Kansas City.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. He's a husband, a dog dad, a first baseman, and a fantasy football commissioner.
Being a commissioner for the league is tough, and I'm really excited. I'm wearing a suit today.
He also likes to fill the bathtub with hard work and Jets tears.
I can't take any more disappointment. That's what he used to say when we watched the Jet games together.
But his most important job is being a Vin FL insider.
I haven't enjoyed a football season since 1969.
On 96.5 The Fan, here's Vinnie Pasquantino.
Vinnie, who usually joins us earlier in the week, had to get him a little bit later on in the week as he absorbed all the Jets news. Vinnie, how are you doing? We'll talk some Jets here in just a second.
I'm doing great. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you good. Loud and clear.
Okay. I'm in a car right now, so that's why I was wondering.
Right.
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. I'm in Richmond, Virginia at the current moment, back where I grew up, which is kind of cool. Haven't been back here in 5 years, and yeah, that's what I got.
So you went to because you were holding a baseball camp at your old high school, is that right?
That's right. We held a baseball camp at my high school. It was awesome. We had like 310 kids there. It was incredible. So it was a great turnout. All the proceeds go back to the high school baseball program, which is pretty special for me to do. So it was a really cool event.
Vinnie, this is Ben Heisler. That's awesome that you're able to come back and have that. But knowing what I know about Richmond, which is very little, it's basically everybody's divided between what Richmond and VCU as far as the fan bases go. Is it anything like KU, Mizzou over here? Like where do you and your family fit in on it?
I guess I lost. Okay, I heard you talk about Richmond and VCU. What was the rest of the question?
Where does your family line up? Is it like as intense of a rivalry as it is here in Kansas City on the border war between, say, Kansas and Missouri?
Not really. Both of my parents went to VCU, so we liked them growing up. But the rivalry isn't crazy. Maybe I'm too far removed to know that it's bigger now than it was, but it wasn't really both schools are very different, so it's not the same group of people going to both schools. Richmond's private, VCU's public, so very separate. Not a whole lot of rivalry there.
Vinnie, you had
just a lot of love.
Yeah, that's good.
Nice.
Nice. That is nice. You sent me a video of trying to learn what 6'7" is amongst the kids. Did you ever figure it out, or did you just avoid saying it the rest of the weekend?
I kept saying it more because every time I'd say it, the kids would react so positively towards it. It might be the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but they love it. I guess when I was a kid, there was probably something that I said that everybody thought was stupid, but all of us as kids loved. I guess that's 6'7" now because it's really, really stupid.
Like, they get so excited when an adult says it.
I really don't understand why, but they started freaking out every time I'd say it.
Well, I think we're also going to be the ones to ruin it for the kids too. Like, right?
Yeah,
when we were kids, we had the different phrases. Like somebody would drop like a "what's up" or something like that, and then now we're going to be the one to take it away to ruin the cool for what we used to be the ones that set the edge and set the trend for it. It's really a shame.
No, I like it. I think that's the way to go, is to ruin the trend by throwing it back in the kids' face and just becoming in the know on the trends of the kids these days and making them miserable.
Teach them a little something. I like it, Vinnie. I want to talk to you about the Jets here in just a second, but are you winning a Silver Slugger tonight? Do they give you a heads up? How's this work?
If you get a heads up, I haven't been given one, so... So if that's the case, then I'm not winning it if they do give you a heads up. But it's an honor being in the final three. It's pretty cool to be, obviously Nick Kurtz had he had a 1-something OPS at 36 homers. But it's cool to be up there, and we had 4 guys being nominated. So I would assume Bobby's going to win. And I think the other 3 of us have a chance, but it's obviously tough competition all the way around, but honor to be involved with the process.
Salvi's going to have a tough time against Cal Raleigh, probably most likely, but he's also got one. So he's not he doesn't have an empty shelf.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a tough hurdle to climb for anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always cool to be cool to be talked about like that.
Just out of curiosity, I was going to ask you, what did you make of Salvador Perez being under contract? You send him a text?
I haven't talked to him yet. I'm going to see him here in about a week or so. So I'll talk to him then. I know he's always busy. So, it's obviously awesome for him. It's awesome for the organization. Anytime you've got a player that's been that ingrained with the organization for as long as he has, and you can reward him for that, especially as he gets a little bit older now, it's super cool. So seeing the organization take care of one of their own, that's obviously something that's super exciting.
Does our deal still stand that if you find out you get a contract, you'll tell me, even though I can't tell anyone, was your original agreement?
Yeah, if that happens, I'll text you immediately.
And then I'm not allowed to tell a soul, otherwise, we're
going to find out if you're in the trust tree or not.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Okay. Not even my wife, right?
No, you can tell your wife. You can keep it at top. The goal is actually going to be see how long until David Lesky finds out this information and tweets it out. I found out we got a new hitting coach thanks to him the other night on Twitter. I started getting sent that a lot, so that was cool. So that's kind of the order that we go in is when he starts tweeting it out, we know things are real.
He's a good friend of mine. He was very much in the know on your new hitting coach. I hope that he's a good fit for you.
Yeah, I hope so too. I've talked to him. Seems like a good guy, and I'm excited to work with him.
Vinnie, as somebody who got a chance to really soak in the postseason this year and just watching the overall season, I'm looking at the overall numbers of baseball and how, from a player's side, everything continues to come up Millhouse as far as the direction of the game, the overall product of the game, and we're seeing a really solid movement in a continued improved direction for baseball. And I wonder if somebody who is on the forefront with the Players Union and with the Players Association, knowing that baseball continues to be on the upswing, how much is that something that you can go back to the owners and say, more than any time else, we are part of the reason why this is moving in the right direction and why we have really sort of the moral authority here to have the upper hand in some of these negotiations. Have you guys had any conversations as to where things are as far as any labor updates at this point?
Yeah, it's an ongoing process. Obviously, I think everybody's preparing for what's going to happen next year. I'd like to reiterate that I think we have one of the best owners in our game and in sports. And I'm not just saying that because I play in Kansas City. I think some of the ideas that he has, I think some of the opinions he has about the game are pretty progressive and not necessarily a way a traditional owner would think about things. I'm not saying anything specific, but I think he's got the future of the game on his mind as well as the future of the players. Yeah, I think baseball is in a really good spot. I mean, when teams become available, they get bought immediately. So to sit here and pretend that teams aren't making money is a ridiculous thing to say. I thought it was a little disappointing that on one of the biggest sports podcasts in the world that a football player is going to talk about how the highest paid team in baseball won the World Series and how it was boring for him because of that, because it's kind of like how I talk about football on the radio with you guys every week. I'm ignorant on it. So the fact that one player or former player is going to talk about basically the relationship baseball has with its players and money, I thought was a little disappointing because you would think players would want to support players. But yeah, I think baseball is in a really healthy spot, and I'm really hopeful that we can get to the negotiating table and really find ourselves in a better spot at the end of it.
Vinny, let's switch. Go ahead. Sorry, I thought.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
I was going to say, let's switch over to football for a minute. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on the Jets deals. First off, do you like that they traded Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams? Do you think they got enough value? Where are you?
It's hard to say because they were 1-7, right? So they weren't a great football team to begin with. And anytime you can get 2 first-round picks, if you're just looking at the value perspective of it, 2 first-round picks and a young receiver feels like you pretty good. And, theoretically speaking, you move off of a lot of money, too, for a team that's not winning. Quinnen Williams, I think they kind of did him a solid a little bit, even though he did go to Dallas, who's not exactly blowing the world up with wins right now. But, yeah, I think it was probably time for them to make some picks make some moves looking towards the future, and they did it. And we'll, when we're talking in 3 years, we'll see where they're at, and then hopefully that's when I'll give my final grades on the trade. Is in like 3 years when all the picks have been made.
Do you want them to take those picks and just trade for a veteran quarterback rather than do the draft? So like I saw someone was saying they should try to go get Joe Burrow or Kyler Murray or any of these other guys. Are you interested in using those picks for a veteran quarterback or just draft one?
I'd like to make it clear that if those picks can get Joe Burrow, I'm all the way in.
They can have all 5 of them, I assume.
They might get more picks back for Kyler Murray.
I don't know if you've ever heard my theory on quarterbacks, but I'm pretty sure it's illegal within their collective bargaining agreement. But like if I was a team, if I'm the Jets, I call the Chiefs and I say, hey, we would like Patrick Mahomes. And I'll give you every single first-round pick until he retires. You can just have our first-round pick every year until he retires. And you might be able to talk me into a second-round pick, too. You can have our first and second-round pick for the rest of his career. And then when he retires, we get our picks back.
I mean, I don't think the Chiefs would take it.
As a Chicago Bears fan, Vinny, I would do that deal in a heartbeat. When Sid Luckman is still your all-time franchise leader in passing yards and touchdowns, you go ahead and make do with your first-round picks for, I don't know, 20 years if you need to. That seems like a completely reasonable deal.
Yeah, that's been always my theory about it, but I think there's some rule where you're not allowed to have a certain amount of picks or something.
I do want to ask you about being an athlete and then also being a diehard fan of a team like the Jets. Normally, I know it bothers a lot of folks when fans are almost rooting for their team to lose, try to tank, try to get themselves the best possible draft pick. Football, obviously, it's a little bit different than, say, like the NBA or Major League Baseball, where not necessarily the worst team every year is guaranteed to the number 1 pick. So how do you balance that of wanting the Jets to get the best possible pick, rebuild for the future in what appears to be a lost season, but also being a professional athlete and knowing the grind of showing up every day and busting your ass to try to get a dub?
Yeah, and I think it is because because I also play. I have no interest in the Jets losing every single game. None. If they could finish the season at 10-7, obviously that'd be great. But like even if they finished, 5-12, whatever it would be, to me it shows at least they're still trying. Like I think it would be so embarrassing to lose, 16, 17 games, whatever it is. Also, getting the number 1 pick doesn't mean you're getting the best player of the draft. There's been time and time again where the guy picked 1 isn't the best quarterback or the best player in that draft. I think it comes down to your scouting, your player development, how you're making players better. Obviously, the player matters probably the most in terms of, percentage-wise, probably the most percentage of what's going to make a guy good. But the best organizations seem to draft the best players because they bring them in and they develop them. So I just want them to turn into something like that.
Vinny, last night the Broncos got to 8 wins. They're now 8-2. Bo Nix led the charge. Not led the charge. He was not very good. The Chiefs have the Broncos next week, and I know you'll get asked about it next week, obviously, when you come on the show, but I'm having a hard time taking the Broncos serious, even though they're 8-2. You see something I don't see in them?
Well, the defense is really good. But they remind me of that Steelers team a few years ago. That was like undefeated and then lost in the first round of the playoffs or second round of the playoffs, whatever it was. Like if you're the Chiefs and you have to go to whatever their field is called, obviously we hate the Broncos, so I don't know what their field's called.
I don't remember now. Mile High, we can just call it by its old name.
Is it like Lumen, or is that Seattle?
Lumen might be in Seattle. Was it like Invesco Field at Mile High, Empower Field? It's something along those lines.
But if you're the Chiefs and you got to go there for a playoff game, are you scared as a fan? Probably not. That's how I feel about them. They're still going to be in my top 5 because their record says they should be, but in my eye test, they're not in my top 5.
All right, let's get to that, Vinny. Let's get to your power rankings, your 1 through 5 in the NFL as it sits right now. Who are the 5 as you see it right now?
Okay, hold on. I wrote a text out so I could see. Okay. These are based off of, my analytic team has not gone through this list
Okay.
This is my what have you done for me this season / what are my general vibes around your team list.
All right.
At number 1, I'm putting the Los Angeles Rams.
Ooh.
At number
Rams.
2, I'm putting the Buffalo Bills. At number 3, I'm putting the New England Patriots. At 4, I'm putting the Seattle Seahawks. And at 5, just because I have to, because their record says they're the best team in the league, I'm putting the Denver Broncos.
I think it's the first time all year you haven't had the Chiefs in their top 5. That Bills loss knocked them out, huh?
I just need the Chiefs to be at least the 7th seed this late in the season. I need them to be in the playoffs.
Oh, that's fair.
It's weird to see them. Like, it is funny, as it should be. They're just talked about as if, like, yep, all right, when the playoffs come, we got to get in first. You know, got to get to that 7th seed before we can get in.
All right, those are Vinny's power rankings. Rams, Bills, Patriots, Seahawks, and Broncos.
And those are so subject to change. When I get out of the car, it might change. So,
you're not married to that at all.
But do you want to go through my worst?
Yeah. Yeah. I do want your bottom 5. Who are your bottom 5?
The Raiders. They stink. This is all vibes. Can the Broncos both be in the top 5 and the bottom 5? Is that possible?
Based on the way, just based on hatred, maybe. Yes.
Yeah.
And
I didn't even know they were playing last night. It was like 8:30, and I realized there was a football game on.
Broncos barely knew they were playing.
Couldn't watch it anywhere because didn't have my iPad, so I didn't have my Amazon Prime, like Prime Video or whatever, and I didn't care that much to watch it.
You didn't miss anything. Don't worry about it.
The Jets are on there. The Saints are on there. The Titans are definitely on there. Those are my 5. The Broncos, Titans, Saints, Jets, and Raiders.
I like that the Broncos get both lists. You know, you get it. You got to hate Broncos. It's not Broncos week yet because of the bye.
Right, the graphic.
Also, hey, by the way, the Kansas City Current have a playoff game this weekend on Sunday.
We're getting ready to. You can head over to our Instagram page and actually win one of the Chewinga bobbleheads from the game. Are you going to go?
I was going to go, but because I fly back and I land in Nashville at 7:20 a.m., I was thinking about just hopping on another flight to Kansas City to go to the game, but that's a tough sell. And also, I'm terrified that my flights are going to get delayed or canceled.
Yeah, that's a real fear at the moment.
Flying right now is not necessarily not easy because I don't have any control over it, but there's a little bit of anxiety with the flying right now with what's going on.
Well, we hope to see you in town soon, Vinny. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday. Ideally, your top 5 will change some 5 or 6 different ways by then.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks.
Thanks, Vinny.
Vinny Pasquantino, Royals first baseman, and actually has a chance at winning a Silver Slugger tonight. He's one of the 3 finalists. It's him, Nick Kurtz, and Vlad Guerrero Jr., who are the finalists for the award. He actually finished with more RBI and more hits, I believe, than Vlad. And he hit 30 home runs, so he'll have a chance at least at the award. Kurtz is actually maybe a bit more of the challenge in there. Salvi has no chance. He's up against Cal Raleigh, who will be winning the Silver Slugger at catcher this year.
Yeah, 264, 32 home runs, 113 stakes.
He's got a good chance to win it tonight.
But doesn't it feel like his season, and again, maybe my perspective is entirely different, but it does feel like it was not discussed on a national level the way that it should have been.
I think if the Royals,
great year.
I think if the Royals were a playoff team, it would have been different, and they would have discussed it more. And unfortunately, because they came up a little bit short, that hurt them. I did mention this, but go to 965thefan.com for your chance to win an exclusive limited edition KC Current bobblehead of star forward Temwa Chewinga, presented by H&R Block, celebrating 70 years of tax expertise with hometown roots in the soccer capital of America, and also happens to be Benny Heis's employer. You can head over to 965thefan.com to have a chance to do it. I believe we got a dozen of them over there. Look, I'm really excited. The KC Current are one of the, if they complete the title, they will go down as probably the single greatest team in NWSL history. They have been a dominant force. Points record. They got the number 1 seed a month ago, and we're just getting ready to do the quarterfinals this weekend. So I'm really excited about the KC Current game. No Chiefs game happening at 11:30. Perfect
national
time.
Game
Home
too
game,
on
national
KNBC.
game, all that stuff. So going to be a really great time. You want a chance to get it. That Chewinga bobblehead. Going for some big bucks.
Yeah. Don't go on eBay. Instead, try to win it right here on 96.5 The Fan, because this is It's a collector's item, and I'll just say it's starting to be priced like a collector's item. Anytime
Casey Curran sent me one, and now I feel like I'm sitting on gold.
Yeah, it's like my kids already opened their boxes because we were at the game on Sunday, and I feel like somebody cut the tag off of the Beanie Baby. And you're just like, no, why did you want
to see it so bad? My daughter ripped the box on mine too. So kids, man, I hadn't even opened it yet. It was just sitting on the table, and my daughter was like, well, I want to see what it looks on the inside. It's not very gentle when opening apparently a bobblehead.
By the way, you were talking about how incredible their year has been. They have not lost at home, which is fairly
they'll
remarkable.
be on Sunday.
Their goal differential is 36. The second best team in the sport is 10. That's insane.
Yeah.
They're so good.
They only lost or tied 5 matches this year. They straight up won every other match they played. And so, again, I just like it. And people are like, it's cold. That's just what playoffs are in.
If this were a Chiefs game, you'd be talking about how awesome of a weather day it is, that it's not in the 20s or the teens or the negatives. And it's going to be in the middle of the day. It's going to be a sunny day. Like I went out for a game last week for Fan Appreciation Day when, of course, Block had sponsored the bobbleheads. Had an absolute blast. I cannot recommend going any more than what it was like. There's so many goals. They play really fast, and it's just a good vibe and a good stadium experience out there. So yes, it's I believe it's kansascitycurrent.com/playoffs if you want to get tickets.
Yeah, why not? And then head over to our page if you want a chance at the Shawinga bobblehead. There's 10 of them, and they only made 5,000 of them.
That is correct.
And I can't it's their first bobblehead, and I would just say that there aren't that many in general, like women's sports, which are still in their growth phase in the United States. Like first ever stadium, right? There isn't enough
setting the
merch
trend
for that. Although I want to go to the. Have you been to the Dub yet? The women's sports bar. I really want to go.
I want to go as well. Well, especially because that's if you guys ever follow some of the stuff I put out on Twitter and X, women's sports for betting is where it's at.
Oh, really?
That's where the money is to be made, my friend.
Haven't been paying any attention. I guess I need to get in on the game.
100%. Yeah, I'd do a whole show, but I wouldn't come back.
That's where the cash is, huh?
That's where the cash is.
Good to know. Sports Talk on 96.5 The Fan is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much these days, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game every Sunday on CBS and Paramount Plus all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. When we come back, we're going to look at the AFC playoff field. I just asked Vinnie who his Power 5 teams are. If I made you say who the 7 teams are in the AFC in order, what would they be? Ooh. We'll take a look at that. Plus, Heisler's got a few future prices for us. We're going to play a little player pass coming up next.
This is Cody and Gold. Tune in for Nate Taylor every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Cody and Gold are brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
No Kansas City child should go hungry, and that's why Kids Eat Free this week at Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee's here to help families in need with healthy and affordable meals. From now through Friday, get $3 hot meals for dine-in or carry-out from 4 to 7 p.m. daily, and kids under 12 eat free. Choose from delicious nightly specials like spaghetti and meat sauce, chicken and noodles, chili, or sesame chicken, just $3 per person, and kids eat free. Get involved by purchasing a $5 or $10 food bank bundle and help us restock our local pantries on a daily basis. In these uncertain times, Kansas City can count on Hy-Vee.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Time for Hy-Vee's holiday baking sale. Make your list and check it twice. Time to stock up on the sweetest deals of the year, like Hy-Vee sugar, $1.99, brown sugar, $1.48, Hy-Vee butter, $2.49, peanut butter, $1.88, and don't forget the Hy-Vee pumpkin pie filling, just 88 cents. Jump in your sleigh and dash away this Friday through Sunday at Hy-Vee.
Does this sound like you? Every step or reach is a reminder of what hurts, a reminder of what you can't do. But I've got good news for you. Relief is closer than you think, and it doesn't have to come from a scalpel. What if it could come from you? At QC Kinetics, we tap into your body's own regenerative power using natural healing factors that help restore and repair damaged tissue, reduce inflammation, and relieve the pain at its source. No surgery, no pain pills, no long recovery. Just your body remembering how to feel alive again. And this Veterans Day, QC Kinetics is giving back to our heroes. Veterans will get $500 off their treatment, and for every non-veteran who starts care, QC Kinetics will donate $500 to the Wounded Warrior Project. So now's the perfect time to book your free consultation with Saturday appointments to fit your schedule. Call QC Kinetics today, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone, QC Kinetics.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there with information coming at us all day, every day. It's hard to know what to trust, and the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals, so it's your voice that comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/private wealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/private wealth.
Yellowstone. The epic ranching drama is now a Kansas Lottery scratch ticket and your ticket to experiences you can't get anywhere else. Top prize of $25,000 plus second chance drawings that let you live the show. Attend a premiere or visit the set, but know what you're getting into. Just kidding. This is a game, not the show. Play Yellowstone. See kslottery.com for details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business?
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more, so you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Not available in all states. Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary. Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program may only have to pay back a mere fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it could end your debt nightmare and save you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. For free information and to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, simply go online and visit DRA.com or call 800-474-1811. 800-474-1811. That's 800-474-1811.
Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan, KFMZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Cody Tapp, Ben Heisler with me for another half hour. Drew Nixon on the other side of the glass. Our thanks to Vinnie Pasquantino for joining us. If you missed any part of that, catch it over on the podcast page. Joshua Brisco joining me in about 30 minutes. Harold Kuntz in for Fan Club, brought to you by Jay Rieger. I'm making rye Manhattans. Sorry, Heis. Oh, man. A little too early to be drinking rye Manhattans. 11 o'clock? I don't know. I'm probably drunk earlier in this show.
As someone who has had a fair share of visits to the club, I've been treated very well. Not rye Manhattan well, though.
You know, Jay Rieger is sponsored, and then the cocktail quality.
I did see, by the way,
went
that what was it? A week or two ago, you guys had both their marketing director and also Miss Dugan.
We did
one
have
of our
Miss
favorites.
Dugan. I had
Love
not,
Miss Dugan.
Somebody had randomly, I was thinking, you know what, we got to mix up fan club every once in a while. Let's look for some fresh people. And somebody suggested her as a possible guest. She was excellent.
Oh, she was fantastic.
Sarah was excellent from Jay Rieger. Ms. Dugan was excellent. Really enjoyable conversation. Felt like she did a great job. Had a drink. Everyone had a good time, you know?
Yeah. I particularly enjoy the different bits of advice that she's been trying to give. Because a lot of us guys can use it. Whether you're single or not, just awareness goes a long way.
So it turns out. Coming up in about 10 minutes, Heister's going to give us a little player pass on some of the stats surrounding Kansas City, including what we expect to get to by the end of the year. But I asked Vinnie this, and I was kind of doing this exercise myself. We're going to do the NFC later in the show, but Heis, I thought you'd be great for the NFC side of this. At the beginning, if you made someone guess right now, what are the 1 through 7 seeds? I want them over in the text on 913-586-7965 or over on the YouTube chat, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. We obviously live stream the show as well. Wherever you'll give it. What are your predictions through 1 through 7? Because I got to be honest, I do really wonder whether or not I could reasonably pick the Chiefs to win the division right now, knowing they're 2 games back, if you made me guess right now, or to pick the Patriots to not win the division, all that other stuff. But when I got through it, I'll give you my order, and then we can discuss where our differences are. I had the Bills as the number 1 seed. I had the Colts as the 2 seed.
Yep.
I had the Chiefs winning the division as the 3. I'm sorry. I watched Denver last night, and it only reinforced my decision. The Ravens is the 4, even though I think that there's some question there, but I've bought off of the Steelers. Patriots is the 5, Broncos is the 6, and the Chargers by the skin of their teeth coming into the 7. I could be talked into the Jags, and this is not even a knock on the Chargers. I just think they are so hurt that it is going to be a challenge for them to make the postseason, and the Chargers and Jags play each other, I think, next week. So that very well could be the deciding factor of who is the 6 or the 7 or out of the playoffs, I think, in the end. So those are my 7. Who do you guys have? And then we can discuss.
It's really hard. You and I are in it's a very similar list. Yes, because I also have the Bills at number 1. I have the Colts at number 2, followed by the Chiefs. And again, it's the 2-game deficit in the division when you recognize that they still have not played Denver 2 times feels like it's very easy to make up. And also what we talked about at the beginning of the show, right? How lucky have the Broncos been? You can actually measure different luck ratings and metrics. They're they're tied with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the luckiest team in the NFL so far this year. So at some point, they're going to regress to the mean. I have them as the 5 seed, so still a very good record, but the Ravens ahead of them. Ravens, have you looked at their second half schedule? Their second half schedule for a team that has been consistently a pretty good team all throughout. Look after the Vikings at Minnesota, that'll be a bit more of a challenging game. At Cleveland, home versus the Jets, home versus the Bengals, home versus the Steelers. They have 3 home games in a row, 2 of them against their division.
And Bengals won't have Joe Burrow back yet.
Bengals won't have Joe Burrow back. Now they're on the road at Cincinnati mid-December. Maybe he's back at that point.
That'd be the earliest timeline, right? That'd be like
that'd be the first game that he's back, I think, yeah.
Honestly, though, it's like if the first game you can come back is December 14th and you only have 3 games, why the hell are you playing him?
And then the final 3 games are a bit of a challenge. Home versus New England, if you still buy into the fact that the Patriots are a really good team, I think they lose this weekend. At Green Bay, and then the game against the Steelers, that may
Those
not...
last few were a bit tough.
Yeah, that may not mean all that much, but right now, this is the moment where they get themselves back in the race. I remember saying a few weeks ago that Lamar at 30-1 could still be a very viable MVP candidate.
Because if he turned it around and they were good...
Because how many teams have started, 1-6 and come back to make the playoffs? Almost 2 or 3 of them?
That's about the lowest I'd be willing to go on any MVP odds better at the moment.
100%, but for someone who had won it multiple times throughout the course of his career.
But so we're only one off. We just have the Broncos and the Patriots.
Correct, and then the Chargers in at number 7. And the Chargers are interesting too, just because how do you deal with them as a team dealing and decimated by injuries, but also a good quarterback, good running game. Like there's good coach, like established. I don't even think I'm leaving off anybody egregious.
I was very close to putting the Patriots as the 1 seed. Their schedule is a joke, and they currently have the advantage over the Bills. I was very close to having the Broncos win the division, but in the end, last night, I watched that team, and I'm like, that's the 1 seed. That's the AFC West division winner. I can't get there. Drew, is yours any different than ours, or is this a futile exercise? Okay, good. I was like, or is this a futile exercise where we have the same 7 teams?
No, it's a little bit different. I've got the Patriots as the 1 seed. It just feels like they're going to do it. I do trust them, as you mentioned, and you guys have talked about, more than Denver for sure. So I got Patriots 1, the Colts at 2, just like you guys do. The Broncos at 3. It feels like the ground is too, obviously not this weekend, but the following one, the Chiefs-Broncos game. It feels like maybe, I don't know if I can claim that's a division-winning game, but if the Chiefs win, I think they're winning the division. If the Broncos win, I think the Broncos are winning the division. I almost kind of put it up to that.
Might be too hard to get back to at that point, 3 games down.
Yeah, it feels like, given that the Broncos won against Vegas, if the Broncos are 9-2, it just feels like it's too much ground to gain if you're Kansas City. So I feel like Denver would be the 3. And then the Ravens, I do feel like they're going to come back and win the division. I think the Bills and Chiefs actually might end up with the same record, but the Bills have the tiebreaker. I did have Chiefs at 5 and Bills at 6, but I'll flip them because the Bills beat the Chiefs this past weekend. And then the Jaguars, I think, make it. It's funny. It was between them or the Chargers. It feels like it's only between the Ravens/Steelers, Chargers, or Jaguars for that final playoff spot. It's just between whichever team doesn't win the AFC North and then those other 2. Jacksonville plays the Chargers next weekend. That might be the game that ultimately decides who gets that 7 seed. So that'll be interesting. I still think Jacksonville, given that they're in the AFC South, I think that kind of bodes well for them down the stretch of the season. I think they might find a way to sneak in at the end.
If the Chiefs don't win the division the way you've got it stacked right now, Drew, which I don't think is an unreasonable
They'd be 6 playing the Broncos on the road.
If you're going to be a low seed, that's the dream setup. Oh, no. Like the Patriots and Colts and Broncos and either the Steelers or the Ravens are the top 4 seeds ahead of you. Okay. Sounds good to me. You wouldn't have to take on the Bills in the second round, because if the Chiefs don't win the division, they should be rooting for the Patriots to win it. That way, at least they might not have to go through a postseason. Could you imagine that'd be the first time the Chiefs had to go through a postseason where they didn't have to face the Bills, Ravens, or Bengals, or multiple of those teams? In most given years, you have to face a couple of them. And the same for the other teams. The Bills, if they're not going to win the division, that's the way they want it to go down. You root for the Steelers, you root for that, and you root for the Broncos, and you hope that if you got to go on the road, it's against teams who have not done anywhere close to the amount you have. It is kind of tough because this isn't obviously the playoff field I had predicted before the season started.
No.
As you could imagine, I did not have the Colts making the playoffs at all, and I certainly had the Ravens winning the division, even though that's up for grabs. And I was probably a little more skeptical on the Patriots than maybe I should have been, all things considered.
By the way, Patriots 4-0 at home.
I
got
got
on the road.
Yours and Ice Heisler, I feel like are the playoff teams, because I have a hard time imagining one of these teams missing the playoffs and the Chiefs not making it. As in, if you switch the Ravens or Steelers, I'll hear it out. But I have a hard time imagining that it's the Jags that steals that spot from the Chargers, unless their offensive line just can't hold up, and then they beat them next week, and then I guess we're having a slightly... Is that game in L.A. or in Jacksonville?
It's in Jacksonville. Again, not...
Ooh, I like it better. I hate those cross-country. When you're like a team that's not playing well, and you got to go from L.A. to Jacksonville, that does not feel like a good game.
I believe it's a noon game, which also doesn't help.
No.
That game is a noon game. It is a noon game.
Usually that's a great opportunity to fade the West Coast team. More often than not, that gets baked into the point spread. But... Again, you feel really confident about that. And in Jacksonville, they're a different team at home, too. They've done that. I remember, like, for a while, like, the Colts hadn't beaten Jacksonville in Jacksonville for, like, 15 years. Something crazy along those lines. There's something about Duval County that just teams get weird.
Yeah, well, the Chiefs, and I still can't understand. I understand every game they lost this year, and it all makes sense. They were up 14-0. We're clearly the better team. The entire time we're the better team and lost. And I'm like, the hell happened here? They're like 500 yards of offense.
Football happened. That's what happened.
I know, but the Chiefs were immune to football happening for a long time. Like, the Patrick Mahomes era has had me be like, oh, not the Colts. They used to. I'm like, I don't care. He ruined all of those moments. Like, that's how I feel like Bears fans, Jets fans. Football happening, that happens to other teams. It hasn't been happening to Kansas City nearly as often. So it's kind of hard to like feel that way sometimes.
As we're evaluating these top teams in the AFC, obviously I think the surprise teams on this list would be Indianapolis and the Patriots. Between those two, which one do you have actual more confidence in that they're legitimate? Or is it both?
If it's between those two, I think it's actually a little bit harder because we've talked about Denver or the Colts. I would lean Colts, but it's hard to not take Mike Vrabel and say, I kind of trust that guy a little bit more. Plus what we've seen from Drake May. I think I'm still leaning Indy, though, just because it feels like they've got more overall talent, I feel like, particularly on offense. Obviously, Daniel Jones is the big question mark, but the way Jonathan Taylor's going, the way the offensive line is, they've got a lot of guys that they trust. Team. It feels like the Colts are better.
Yeah, their single biggest problem is the secondary, and at least they went and found a top 10 corner in the NFL. Like, they're at least trying
it's
to
hard to go
resolve
against the way Drake May's playing, though. He's playing MVP low-level stuff.
Also, Lou Amarillo, not the problem in Cincinnati with the defense.
Yeah.
Lack of talent.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Look, we'll see exactly where it plays out. I just wanted to get it on paper. We now officially have our mid-season playoff predictions the rest of the way. But let's play a little play or pass here with Vinnie Heis. We obviously know you like to be in the sports wagering market, although women's sports apparently is where you've been making the sun shine lately from that end. But let's look through some Chiefs stuff, and then you're going to give us a few, and you're going to tell us whether or not you would bet one side or the other, and we'll tell you whether we bet one side or the other. Let's take a look through some of these. What do you got?
All right, so let's start with the conversation that I think all of us were having. Cody, I think I know where you would be, given that we both have the Chiefs as the team coming out of the AFC West. Chiefs, last check to win the AFC West, best price on the board was plus 150. Are you playing or passing it?
Playing. I mean, I think they're going to win the division. I just had to watch Bo Nix get in some grind-out game with Geno Smith getting sacked 57 times. Genuinely awful football game to watch. That one I would play.
What about you, Drew?
I guess given my prediction, I would pass.
Even at 150. Plus 150. How can you get plus odds for the Chiefs to win the division?
It does feel like it would just be a good play, and you kind of fade yourself, I guess, and fade myself in this prediction. But, I mean, plus 150 are obviously great odds at, week 11 of the season, or week, 9 of the season? Who'd have thought that the Chiefs would be plus odds to win the division?
That's pretty remarkable. So, now looking at a number, the Chiefs have won more than 11 games in all but 1 year, going all the way back to 2018. So right now, the Chiefs to go over 11.5 wins at the midway point of the season is at plus 170. Where are you guys on it?
Plus 170. I like that it's plus money. I betted it over when it went down to 10.5. I consistently bet the over on the Chiefs wins anytime they get to a low number.
They can only afford one more loss, Cody, to have this happen.
I'd pass for now, or it's just like a no play. I'm not saying they can't get there, but it's like one I'm just like, I don't want to bet it right now. I don't know what's going.
That's the thing. You see the plus odds and you think to yourself, this is almost an automatic for this team each and every year. They finally have everybody, for the most part, healthy. But I can't get there given the improvements in the division. And just, you're right, it's one more game. Can they actually get to that point and feel confident about it? I think people see the dollar signs in their head and they see the plus odds for the Chiefs to get past a number that they were expected to get past initially. I'm passing as well.
I don't know what the odds shift would be, but if they beat Denver, Cody, is that an automatic yes? It doesn't matter what the odds are. If it's still 11.5, I'm hammering that.
Yeah. I mean, plus money, I like that, but I can get a lot of 2-to-1 bets. I just think I'd avoid that. Mm-hmm. To win the AFC, you had mentioned?
Yeah, plus 320. Plus 320? And plus 600 to win the Super Bowl. They are, I believe, behind only Buffalo in those categories to win the AFC and to win the Super Bowl.
I just for me, win the AFC, why wouldn't I bet it? They have been...
If we're talking about automatics.
They have been in the AFC Championship game every single year. Patrick Mahomes has been the starter. So, yeah, I kind of lean towards, sure, you're giving me 3-to-1. Why not? I like that better than, weirdly enough, than the 11.5. I might like it better than winning the West because neither of those things have to happen, and I still get it at plus 320 or plus 600 to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, I like that for sure.
And there's not a whole lot of concern as to where they're playing. It's always nice to have it at Arrowhead, but if they need to go elsewhere and go on the road, that hasn't been a concern for them either.
Yeah, I feel like the AFC one, at the very least, I would definitely play it.
That one play. All
right, so here's some of the numbers in the individual numbers for Patrick Mahomes. MVP, plus 450. The passing yards leader, plus 425. And passing touchdown leader, plus 750.
I kind of like him as the passing touchdown leader.
You do?
Yeah.
So he's not the favorite in that one. The only one that he is the favorite right now is for the passing yards leader. But why passing touchdown leader at plus 750?
Because he was leading it for a chunk of the season already, and one game against the Bills where he only gets one passing touchdown doesn't feel like it should be the number that breaks it for me. He's not far off the pace. Right now the leader is at 21, which is Matt Stafford. I understand he's got a 4-touchdown lead on it right now. Mahomes was leading it not that long ago. I know that he's going to have a bye week, and so we'll have to see. he has got an additional game over Stafford, so that's a disadvantage. But if I'm getting it at the odds I'm getting at, plus 750, I think the Rams are far more likely to have even though their division is harder, they got a better chance to not have to play Week 17. Chiefs are going to have to play Week 17 against the Raiders. Like, that final game might end up being the determining factor, but he might have to play in that game. I just like it because of the odds. I'm not saying I for sure like it. I like it as a
spoken like a true bettor, where you're following the number and not necessarily the play itself. I like the number for passing yards leader. I think it's a reasonable play, especially given where they are in the standings, right? They're going to need Mahomes to play. Now, he's running more, but he's still, from a passing perspective, averaging about 266 yards per game. That is top 4, top 5 right now in the NFL. And then you're right, he's only 4 touchdowns back. That's something that he can make up in a couple games or two. But I prefer that number where I just know he's going to be throwing, and I know that's going to be an integral part of the offense. And with the yards after catch guys all healthy, I think that's the play for me.
I will say right now he's 5th right now in passing yards per game, but Mac Jones is on that list, and he won't stay on there because eventually he won't have enough qualified games when Brock Purdy comes back.
Yep.
So neither of them will have enough qualified games. Those two guys are ahead of him on the list technically, although Brock Purdy has only played 2 games, so it doesn't count. Justin Herbert is 4 yards ahead of him. Daniel Jones is 6 yards ahead of him, and Matthew Stafford is 7 yards ahead of him in yards per game. So I don't hate that bet either, especially at 4-1. But again, I just think I like the AFC bet better, and I can just avoid it.
Yeah, the Daniel Jones one I think is a little bit more interesting, and maybe there's some intrigue for me, only because I think at some point, teams are going to start putting 8-9 guys in the box to slow down Jonathan Taylor and say, all right, Daniel Jones, go ahead and beat us.
But that might not lead to enough yards. The Steelers' pass defense is awful. So, I don't think every time a team does that he's going for 350 or whatever the hell he went for last week.
I agree with that.
So that part really doesn't exactly give me. You got one more for me?
I do.
And then we're going to do an early random question of the day. Normally we do trash of the day during this time, but you had a question, so we're gonna flip them this
All
today.
right, so there are touchdown props for the rest of the season for both Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce. I'm going to give them both to you guys. Rashee Rice listed at over 7.5 touchdowns.
Which is insane because he didn't play the first 6
games. He didn't play the first
games.
6 games, but it's at plus 170. Or Travis Kelce over 5.5 touchdowns. You got to pay a little bit more juice on that one at minus 125.
He's at 3 right now, a little over halfway through the season. I love the Kelce one. I fear the Rice one because eventually teams aren't going to just let him score.
I agree.
But, there's the wildcat part of it. I love the Kelce one. I have been making money off of Kelce overs for years because every year Vegas is like, 720.5 in receiving yardage. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll take the over. Every year you're going to do this, I'm just going to take the over because you, for some reason, think the wheels are going to completely come off. And look, last year was a sweat. I only covered his number by the skin of my teeth. But I covered it. It still covered, and this year it was even lower. And so, Kelce over 5.5, he's going to get in the end zone 3 more times. I don't fear that at all.
It's the season-long prop for Kelce that usually tends to hit. It's the game day prop, the week of prop that everybody is chasing. Them and the Swifties are going after taking the over, and that usually doesn't hit. I'm with you, though. I think the number for Kelce makes all the sense in the world, minus 125. It's just because of the availability now. You're seeing how the offense opens up having everybody else in there. So he's going to find the end zone, especially if we're expecting Mahomes to throw as much as he needs to. Yeah, halfway points, he'll get there.
Are these total touchdowns or are they receiving? Do you know?
Usually
because
rushing would count.
Because Rashee's played 3 games, he has 4 touchdowns. I feel like Rashee to get over 7.5.
I just feel like that's going to slow down, and some other people are
so?
going to get in the end zone.
I think there's a reason.
Travis,
I think there's a reason why there's plus odds on it.
Yeah,
6 or 7 feels like a good number for Rice to be at some point. He's going to just have one of those off games or 10 catches for 78 yards and no scores. That could happen.
All right, so normally during this time we do trash of the day, but Heis had a question for us. So we're going to do trash of the day in the random question spot. And for now, Drew, we're going to do random question instead.
Random question.
Random question of the day brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. I know it's going to make you feel like it's the 1 o'clock hour, the noon hour. No, we're doing it early because Heis had a question for us. Heis, what's the question?
The question was, I saw across social yesterday that the Chicago Bulls radio announcer, Chuck Swirsky, was at the Vatican to present Pope Leo a custom Bulls jersey. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, why does this matter? Why do I care? The Pope, as many of you may have heard, is from Chicago. And not just Chicago. The Pope is a Bob from the South Side. That's the guy that you just here would expect to call into a sports talk radio station with hot takes about the Bears. And he's the Pope now. So Chicagoans obviously had a field day when this first happened, but the problem is that how would you even gift His Holiness? What do you get for the Pope? I've had problems thinking of like if I'm going to like a friend's house and I need to bring something, what do I bring?
Like, do I bring a bottle of wine? Do I bring an appetizer?
What the heck are you supposed to bring the Pope?
If I had to give a gift to the Pope, what do I get him?
I don't know.
And honestly, is he keeping any of this? It feels like it actually feels like a lower stakes thing than if I went to a birthday party at your house. What am I giving the Pope that he's actually displaying or keeping or cares about?
How funny would
it's
it be?
It's just getting tossed to the side. I'd have a harder time buying for Drew. I don't know what to get Drew this year.
What if the
Maybe
Pope
wants
had
a
a
new
man
shirt?
Cave? What if the Pope had a man cave with just nothing but Chicago sports memorabilia across it? It's not out of the realm of possibility.
I guess
he has he does have now a authentic Chicago Bulls jersey that just says Pope Leo on it. But I'm almost wondering too, because he's such a big fan. If he
you don't
would have
retire
said,
from being the Pope,
you're just Pope.
Dead. You're just Pope forever.
Right, forever.
So you can't like hold on to all that. People give you gifts as the Pope. Like they give you priceless Fabergé eggs. You can't compete. If you and I have to give the Pope something, it's got to be something personal. That's why the Bulls jersey works. Or it's got to be like,
so you're okay with the personalized Bulls jersey, even though it's not going to be framed anywhere. It's not.
I actually think that's better than attempting like something of like because you're not going to own anything of historical value from like you're not going to own like a King James Bible once owned by like Jefferson. You can't. You can only compete.
Do you think LeBron James owns a King James Bible? By the way.
Oh yeah, right.
Got to, right? Like just naturally signs up to itself.
I would think if my name lined up in any way like that, I probably would. It's a great nickname. I don't know why I was with a friend the other day and we were randomly talking about best sports nickname. And we all universally agree on the same ones that always play. If it's your name all the time, Magic, or those are the ones. Or White Chocolate. If nobody calls you by your regular name.
Shout out Jason Williams.
Great nickname.
I would love to know what the Pope's nickname was growing up.
Oh man, what's his name? What's his full name? I don't remember this now.
I just remember his name is Bob, and he's from the South Side of Chicago.
Bob from the South Side.
South Side Bob. I don't know. I was also thinking too. Say the roles reversed. Obviously, I grew up in Chicago, but now Kansas City is my home. I've been here now almost 12 years. Say Kansas City and were Pope instead of a Chicago-based guy. What would you just get him like a personalized Chiefs jersey? Would it be a Royal What would you get the Kansas City Pope?
Great question.
You're not bringing barbecue sauce to the Vatican.
And he probably already owns a Mahomes jersey. I think jersey's the play, but I think I would go unique player from the time in which he was a child. So let's say he's 40 years old, and I would find a player from when he was like 10, 11, 12, peak fandom, and it's got to be like, it would be like a Boomer Grigsby. Like I would go obscure.
So you're really
a real
leaning
fan.
in.
You're a real fan, and I'm proving you're a real fan by 10-year-old fan favorite player that only a Chiefs fan who is 10 would know. Not everybody knows a Mahomes jersey.
Right.
I'd go obscure.
Like the sentimental connection.
He'd have a Scott Skiles jersey, not Michael Jordan. I'd get him something weird.
100%. If he somehow said
Stacey King,
like that man, like
over on Twitch, someone said stained glass piece of the city.
If the Pope is from Kansas City and I don't know where you find out he was the biggest David DeJesus fan, you have to find a way to get a David DeJesus jersey and give it to him.
There's so many layers to what David DeJesus too. You know what I actually just thought of? How about like a custom Pope mobile, like decked out with your favorite team?
If it's endless money, sure. Like a little, it's geared up with some
I think an NFL team can afford a Pope mobile.
Yeah, I think so. Man, a Pope mobile. That would be pretty sick.
Pope my ride.
When you're just, has anyone updated that one in a while? Here's the problem is are they going to let you do this without actually investigating it, They got to make sure the thing's actually safe. You got to get specs from the Vatican.
Like they're going to rip it apart and make sure that everything is.
Yeah, man. That's how this stuff works.
They're going to bring it to exhibit and he's going to deck it out. And that's a reference from a few years ago. Pope my ride.
Somebody from the 75. Obviously a Priest Holmes jersey.
Sick. If you're just going puns, there's kind of an endless choice. Christian Okoye, Priest Holmes, David DeJesus. You get him any jersey that could have any kind of religious affiliation, and you put them together. Right?
Is there a player named Pope on the Chiefs at any point?
Mark Pope?
Leonard Pope?
Leonard Pope. Leonard Pope was definitely on the team. Leonard Pope was definitely on the team.
So you just have a jersey that just says Pope on it.
Leonard Pope jersey is about as obscure as it gets. Because he played for the Chiefs, didn't he? He was drafted by the Chiefs, I thought. Yeah. No, he just played for him after. He spent 3 years in Kansas City, old Leonard Pope.
3 years in Kansas City?
Mm-hmm. David, it was a...
I thought Leonard Pope was going to be so good.
It was a dark time.
6'8", 264. Thought the guy was going to be a gazelle trying to just get over the middle of the field, just catch touchdown after touchdown.
Too big. That was the problem. That's the random question of the day, brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care. Heis has got places to be, so he's going to step away. Our guest, Joshua Brisco, will join us next during the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Talk all things bye week and where the Chiefs stand after their loss to the Bills and what he saw maybe against the Broncos last night.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trent McDuffie. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
FanDuel is putting you in control right from NBA tip-off because every day to start the season, you get to choose your reward. Take your shot with the Profit Boost token. You can play it cool with a no-sweat bet, or you can get a little backup with the Bet Back token. So what I like to do is I like to pick 3 players that I think are going to score at least 20 points. It gives you something to cheer for. It gives you something to root for. So you can put a little bit of extra sauce on it with the Profit Boot token, or you can just play it easy. You can play it relaxed with that no sweat bet. Whatever your pick is, whatever your strategy is, get into the game and play it your way. Head to FanDuel.com/KFNZ to make it your choice. FanDuel is an official sportsbook of the NBA and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expirations, league requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
And Doug. Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down. 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com. And I look forward to working with you.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a little more.
I'm worth a lot more.
I completely agree. You are worth more, and your car's worth more. And we want to pay more at GiveMeTheVin.com for good cars, because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than just Peyton Manning. I'm also motivating Manning. When I say insurance, you say financial services. Insurance.
Financial services.
Insurance.
Financial services.
Now when I say nationwide, you say is both. Nationwide.
Is both.
Nationwide.
Is both.
For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Makita knows that pros never settle, and neither do we. With Makita, you get tools that perform at the highest level on every job without compromise. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly engineered to deliver precision, job after job. When your work calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me, like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Back in here on Cody and Gold, Chiefs Red Half Hour is brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Check them out at allweatherdecks.net. Time to talk a little Chiefs football with our guy Joshua Brisco. He's going to sit in for the full half hour. Brisco, you're not getting off easy today. I need you for a full 30 minutes to break down how much Bo Nix's ass.
I'll tell you what, we need more time than that, probably. I don't know if this half hour is going to be enough. I've never believed in a 5-game winning streak like the Broncos have had less than I do right now. An Eagles win is legit impressive. Everything since then feels like smoke and mirrors.
Legitimately, and I understand that like somebody in Denver is going to pull this clip and they're going to play this if the Chiefs lose to the Broncos in 10 days from now. But I watched the Denver Broncos play, and you cannot convince me that they are going to beat Kansas City 10 days from now, knowing what they are on offense. I respect their defense. I understand how good Nick Benito is. I will say the Raiders have one of the worst offensive line in football. But what you said, they beat the Jets 13-11, followed it up with trailed by 19 and eked out against the Giants 33-32. Beat the hell out of Dallas, kudos. Barely beat Houston 18-15, beat the Raiders last night 10-7 in a game in which they had 35 sacks and a blocked punt and still only managed 10 points. I can't take – Bo Nix doesn't look good.
No, it's because he's not. I'm not even as confident as you are in what this means for next week, because I think the Chiefs also occupy this space. What I did last night was I tweeted out that run of the schedule and said I've never been less impressed by a stretch of 5-0 football. And somebody on Twitter sent back the Chiefs run last year: Panthers, Raiders, Chargers, Browns, and Texans, as if that wasn't exactly my point. Like, I remember that from last year. We talked about that last year. I'm standing by exactly my original statement here. These 5 games from the Broncos, if you watch the football games and you leave those games with confidence in the Denver Broncos, I don't know what you're watching. I don't know that translates to success for the Chiefs. The Broncos have played all of these tight, close games, these fourth-quarter comebacks against a bunch of these crappy teams. And if you told me that the Chiefs-Broncos is going to be tied at 17 in the fourth quarter next week, I'd say sure. Yeah, no, why wouldn't it be? Because the Chiefs also will do that. Like, we've seen them time and time again. They'll hang around with a bad team, or they'll let a bad quarterback have a good day, or their offense will sputter at a bad time. I think that's totally on the table. The Broncos beating the Chiefs next week would make me feel terrible things about the Chiefs. It wouldn't make me respect the Broncos a whole lot more. Like, I think they deserve to be favored in the AFC West. And if they win the AFC West, good for them. But I cannot wait to pick against them to lose a home game in the playoffs.
Well, I guess part of it is just, this is why I still think the Chiefs have a good shot at the AFC West. I don't blame people for saying the Broncos will win it. They got a 2-game advantage halfway through the year. That is a nice size advantage. The Chiefs can erase it by just beating them.
Yes.
Like, it is gone, and they have the tiebreakers, and they're the lead team simply by just beating Denver. And while they do get a mini bye, I do think there's an advantage in the fact that Andy Reid got to sit down there for the entire game last night and scout what Denver's doing and spend the rest of the bye week figuring out and self-scouting where their problems are. If you were the Chiefs, by the way, where do you think your single biggest self-scout area is? Is it how do we figure out to get more pass rush? Is it what do we do with linebackers and coverage? Like, where are you spending your time, I guess, in the self-scout this week?
I think starting with like not the actual answer, but just one thing that I think we have to mention. I think the biggest offensive thing against Buffalo was that the offensive line started breaking down, and it was a thinned out Bills unit, so that's still pretty concerning. But Josh Simmons is back at the facilities, and Trey Smith has a week to not play football and try to get healthier, as does Juwan Taylor. And by the end of that game, Creed Humphrey was the only healthy starter. Like, Kingsley even left and came back and all of that. So I'm not panicking on the O-line. I think what we saw before the Bills game, I think that still stands on its own. I think the biggest issue is the pass rush, and frankly, it's the only move that around the trade deadline that I really did think they would make some sort of move to add another body in there. And I don't think that losing Broderick Martin off of the practice squad is like a huge deal, but it's kind of funny that like one of their available practice squad defensive tackles got poached after the trade deadline by the Steelers. And now the Chiefs are just here with Mike Pennell reunion time and the power of friendship, I guess, because the pass rush collectively has just not been, it hasn't been an impactful unit. And I think we saw against Buffalo what happened. Patrick Mahomes, as unbelievably excellent as he is human when pressured. Josh Allen, as flawed as he can be, it looks superhuman when he's never pressured. So I know that it ends up being like kind of one of the full circle things of football analysis, where it's like, penalties and turnovers and pressuring the quarterback. But you get to the other side of that bell curve and you go, well, it's kind of penalties and pressuring the quarterback and not turning the ball over. So I am. My biggest concern the rest of the way is the pass rush. I don't know if that's even the right answer to your self-scouting question, because I don't know what they're gonna scout out. Like, if they take this bye week and they look at their pass rush and go, oh man, we really need another body here. Well, it's too late. That realization should have come several weeks ago, and whatever was on the market, obviously they weren't that interested in.
It's a little bit like the Royals offseason, where I think that like some of their problems and like how do we fix the offenses? Well, Jack Caglione just has to hit, and so like for the Chiefs, it's a little bit of Charles Omenihu has got to be better, and he has been better in the second half. In a weird way, with Chris Jones, though, I feel like less playing time would be more. As in, maybe it's not time. And I know Spags will just, like, maybe it's not time to have him play 81% of the snaps. And instead, save him for those pivotal moments if you think the team can keep it close. And maybe a fresh Chris Jones has a better chance of getting the quarterback. I don't know what that means. Probably means more Leo Chenal on the line or more Jaden Hicks and less linebacker-heavy units, but like it does feel like they're going to have to mix and match in a way that they haven't so far.
I'll add to that by noting, everybody talks about George Karlaftis' motor and how relentless he is and his effort and how much he's on the field and all of that. Chris Jones has played 4 fewer snaps this year than George Karlaftis. George Karlaftis has officially played 414 defensive snaps, and Chris Jones has played 410. And those guys don't win the same way. They're not the same type of player. They're not the same age. So I am with you on that, where I think we should probably be having a little bit of a Travis Kelce-esque conversation with Chris Jones of like, hey, man, can somebody else take a little bit of this burden? And some of the stats, some of the advanced stats on Karlaftis' pressure numbers have been really good. And I got to say, that is radicalizing me against certain pressure stats, because I've watched these football games and at no point and this is also can include Chris Jones, no one is taking over in the pass rush. Karlaftis isn't doing that. Chris Jones isn't doing that. I don't expect anybody else to do that. You want a play from Omenihu, Dana. You wanted a play from Omar Norman-Lott. Obviously, he's out of the picture now. Western Gelati, I suppose. He's gotten more playing time, which is good to see, just him getting more into the swing of things. But I think all of those guys, you just need a play or two here or there, and that ultimately raises the level of your unit as a whole. I think we need some takeover snaps from Jones and Karlaftis, and I do think, this has been a step down for Jones so far this year, and I also still think he's their best pass rusher by a pretty healthy margin.
Look, it's fun. Like, I think Karlaftis, like all the stats say that he's been around. Like, it's not. He's just, I don't know. Some of this is, look at how he's paid amongst other elite defensive ends who have been paid. Look at his numbers, and he's a good deal. He's a perfectly fine defensive end that a lot of teams would be happy to have on their roster. He is not Myles Garrett, and he's never been Myles Garrett. He's probably never going to be Myles Garrett. And so that part is just like something I think sometimes we don't accept is I can accept that Nick Bolton isn't good in coverage. I know that. I know the things he's good at and the things he's not. What I've noticed more, and this is where I really want Spags to be in his bag, is I feel like, unfortunately, lately this season, there's been a couple of times where I think teams have taken advantage of Spags' loyalty, of sticking with personnel groups, and they're starting to take advantage of some of that better than they had in years past. So, like, I think in the self-scout for Spags, he's got to figure out different personnel groups. Otherwise, teams will continue to take advantage of some of the coverage issues.
I agree with that, and I think the Bills game ultimately comes at a good time, I suppose, from like that self-scouting perspective, because it's as tough of a game as Drew Tranquill's had in a very long time. And a couple of those big plays, like one he fell over and one he got picked up in a pick. So, like, I don't know that means he can't play pro football anymore, but it was a tough game for him, and I think you have to look at a guy like Jaden Hicks and figure out, is there a role for him where maybe he can, with a little bit of speed and a little bit of youth there, can he bridge that gap to some extent? Like you said, I don't think you can ask more of most of these players. I think a lot of these guys are in the roles that they're in for specific reasons. Like, it's trying to accentuate their strengths and limit their weaknesses. That's a very tough way to continue living when you're not getting an absolutely elite effort from Chris Jones, when you're not getting a true defensive end disruptor year from George Karlaftis to this point, when the secondary has been very, very good, especially the corners. Trent McDuffie is still excellent. Jalen Watson has been very good this year. Noah Williams in the mix. Like, I think we've seen reasons to be optimistic about that. But Shamari Connor's playing every snap. Nick Bolton's playing every snap. Those aren't Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. Those are not perfect players. And so I do think that there's a little bit of just trying to scheme around your limitations that Spags has been unbelievable at. I just think it's even harder to do that when you're not getting the pass rush. Getting the pass rush speeds everything up so much that quarterbacks don't have time to pick on their favorite matchup or to let a play unravel over such a period of time that they find somebody just bursting open downfield. Without the pass rush, all of the degree of difficulty just raises so much.
Am I allowed to say, so I'm going to say something critical of Patrick Mahomes. What do I have to say before so that people don't think I've lost my mind that he's not the best quarterback in the NFL?
My name is Alex Gold, and...
Yeah, so... My name's Alex Gold, and I've got a problem with something Patrick Mahomes does. Look, he's amazing. He's the best quarterback in the NFL. He's one of the single greatest quarterbacks to ever live. Last season, it's not the yips, but the pressure got to him that he started leaving pockets too early and making uncommon mistakes because he mentally felt pressure that wasn't there. I saw that in the last game against the Bills in a couple of snaps. And I was like, boy, you snapped into that real quick. And I was like, why did you go back to that, Patrick Mahomes, so fast? They only pressured you just this one time this year. And that always concerns me a little. Like, why did he go to let's abandon clean pocket mode in a couple of snaps so fast when he's had the protection this year? It felt like one game was enough for him to be like, I better get out of here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's totally fair, and I think that it's also jarring because he has looked so comfortable this year, even with Jalen Moore coming in for Josh Simmons. I absolutely agree. I think that's the right takeaway from the Bills game, and I think it's the most sort of jarring difference from what's happened through the first half of the season before that. I do think that you look back at last year, and it's very easy to understand how and why that happened, right? Because if you do just stay in the pocket, you do just let things happen around you, you're taking 4 more sacks a game than you're currently taking. Like, Mahomes is unbelievable. I know you know this. Like, Mahomes is unbelievable on the move, on the run, outside of the pocket, and continuing to create. But the fine line I think you want to draw is that when there is just not a free rusher, but when there is a flash of color that you will see out of the corner of your eye on the offensive line, you want Mahomes to be able to trust, like, oh, that's going to get picked up, or I'm going to have a little bit longer because Kingsley or Creed or Trey Smith, if it's from the interior, they're going to die a slow death, and they're going to make sure that I have just enough time to get this ball up. And Mahomes takes a ton of hits when throwing the football because he wants to wait to the last possible second because that gives the receiver another half second to get open. So I think that there was a bit of regression there against the Bills. And again, I don't think I'm concerned about continuing throughout the rest of the year. I do think you have to be concerned that when there is a game where Mahomes is being heavily pressured, and if it happens in the playoffs, it's going to be a big deal. If there's a game where he is heavily pressured, that you will see those tendencies come back up again. And then that makes him operate out of timing. And I don't know that any of the receivers had a great day. I don't know that Andy Reid had a great day schematically for the Bills game. Frankly, I don't know that anybody had a great day there, certainly not on offense. And I don't know, the defense had its own problems, obviously. I had higher expectations for the offense, and I know that Josh Allen is good, and I know where the Chiefs' pass rush problems are. All that to say, I think there's a team effort of a lot of things snowballing against Buffalo, but I'm absolutely with you. That's something I've been talking about this week, too. I think we're on the same page. You cannot get a hurried Patrick Mahomes and get the best version of Patrick Mahomes, and he knows that better than we do.
What's your way too early prediction? Will Joshua Simmons immediately get his starting job back? My assumption is it'll be Moore and Taylor, and if anybody gets hurt or stinks, Simmons will be on the call immediately, but then he won't actually start on Sunday against the Broncos. A week from Sunday.
I will first say I don't have any insight.
No, I'm just guessing.
Your guess, your gut. My assumption has been that he will just step right back in. And I honestly hadn't even really thought about it that much, which might mean that you're onto something there. I guess it might depend a little bit on how these last several weeks of communication went and what kind of physical shape he's coming back in. I mean, I don't know if he hasn't been able to work out during the last 4 weeks, then maybe he shouldn't immediately start. Obviously him being back in the facilities for the bye week, I think is a very good sign in terms of just getting him back up to speed on stuff. But yeah, I mean, obviously he hasn't been in the meeting, so it's not just like he was even, in meetings and going to do rehab and getting through an injury or something. So there are enough question marks there that I do think that's a good question to ask, even though I haven't considered it a ton. The other thing is that I'm curious what the state of Juwan Taylor's health ends up being, because you mentioned, hey, if one of those guys goes down, I think there's at least a chance that next week comes around, then it's just Josh Simmons and Jalen Moore at left and right tackle, since Taylor didn't finish that game. Now, Taylor's had that knee injury that's just been lingering for over a year now, and so maybe the bye week is just what Juwan Taylor needs to get back to the way he was playing before the Bills game. That was his worst game in a while, month at least.
It was bad.
And so again, I want to be optimistic that the guy we saw the previous 4 or 5 games or whatever is still out there. But yeah, I think if Juwan Taylor isn't good to go, then I think that decision gets forced. Obviously, I don't think you're essentially playing Wanya Morris over Josh Simmons on his first time back. But I think, at least my hope would be that Simmons is in a place where he's ready to go right away, and the Chiefs just give him the keys again.
In totality, do you think that this is a more talented team than last year's team?
Yes, I do. And I think maybe it's also specifically like more talented where it matters the most. Again, I think
offensive line, weapons.
Yes. The O-line is still the first thing, and obviously the wide receiver situation is much, much better, which you wouldn't have known from the Bills game, which is frustrating. I think that's one of the reasons that game is so jarring, because the two places where it is significantly better than it was last year's O-line and wide receiver, we started to see the glimpses of that in those previous couple of weeks with Rashee Rice back especially. But no, I do think it's a more talented group. I think the defense has such an obvious weakness in the pass rush that it's a frustrating one to look at and kind of just acknowledge that flatly. But no, I do think it's a better. I think the overall health of the group is in a better place
for sure.
Because of the offensive line and the wide receivers.
Brisco, quick Chiefs sidestep for just a minute, because I feel like you're guest qualified to comment on this. Phil Mickelson's been going back and forth with Pablo Torre. He had found some maybe possible cases of insider trading, which is a reminder he has been guilty of before. Phil said, I know from experience that being in the public eye makes me a frequent target for sensationalized media coverage. I get that it comes with the territory, but there are no legal limits on false reports. Then the writer who was on Pablo's podcast says, we stand by our fact-checked, legally vetted reporting and provided you with multiple chances to comment prior to publication. Is Phil Mickelson picking a fight with Pablo Torre equivalent to when Drake picked on Kendrick? And it's a huge mistake. He's digging up dirt on everybody. Stay out of that man's purview.
Your last statement there is the truest. I really like Pablo Torre. I think at some point we've maybe interacted briefly on social media at some point over the years. I don't have anything to hide, Cody. I live a very transparent life, and I certainly don't have Phil Mickelson's money. But I don't even want Pablo Torre to know I exist for a little while.
If you heard Pablo Torre was looking into you like, oh, God, what did I do?
Yes, No. If I found out that Pablo Torre was calling like my friends and family or employers or whatever, I think I would try to get a hold of him. Just like, hey man, tell me what you know. Maybe I should know what's happening here, because clearly you are going to, as the show title infers, you are going to find out. I cannot. Sure, and he was ahead of the curve on this last round of NBA-related gambling ring nonsense. Like, they were talking about that in June or July, I think. I cannot imagine the arrogance that must be required to pick up a fight with Pablo Torre right now. But I look at who's doing it, and I do see a couple of common threads.
Like, if I were Phil, man, I just don't say anything. Just be quiet and hope they forget you exist.
Phil Mickelson, you have all. Just go. I mean, yeah, I don't. Look, I know we needed more than 30 minutes to talk about all the ways that Bo Nix is a disappointment to the sport of football. If you want to take another 30 minutes, I'll delay my future plans. We can just talk about the idea of incredibly, incredibly wealthy people not enjoying having any of their things looked at by a journalist.
Yeah, I got to be honest. If I was that wealthy, I'd just stay out of trouble. Just live my life.
It seems so easy.
Go to the beach.
Seem easy. And by the way, you don't need Mark Cuban or Steve Ballmer money or Phil Mickelson money. There's a lot less money that would send me to a beach. If I'm James Franklin, I'm not looking for work.
I said the same thing. I said the same thing. If they gave me one of those coaches buyouts and they said $50 million, but it's only $25 million if you don't look for work, you'd be like, well, I'll be done looking for work. And you'll never hear from me again. I'll be like a ghost, that guy Cody, who maybe once hosted radio for a while.
Right. That's the thing also that I feel like we have to make the subtext text. We do radio. We like a little public eye. We like talking about sports and having people hear our voices and whatever happens to our souls as children that led us to microphones and thinking I deserve to talk into one of these. Whatever sickness that got us here, we're here. Do you know how easy it would be for me to deactivate my Twitter account if I knew what my bank account looked like? I feel like that would be an easy win that a lot of these people just refuse to take.
It's true. Brisco, really appreciate the time here on a Friday, obviously. Chiefs bye week, so we'll catch up with you next week, and then hopefully, even though the Raiders couldn't come through with us, maybe the Steelers can get the win against the Chargers this weekend.
I just can't wait to preview the 17-14 Chiefs win over the Broncos. We're all going to enjoy next week. It's going to be fun.
Should be a good time. Thanks, Brisco. We'll talk to you next week.
Talk to you later, Cody.
That's Joshua Brisco. Obviously, you can catch him on our pre- and post-game show when we have it. Drew, obviously, we don't have a pre- and post-game show this week. Look, all I'm saying about Pablo Torre is, I don't care if you like it, just stay out of the man's way.
I think you're right.
Don't be picking social media fights with the person who's been digging up dirt on everybody in the sports realm for the last, 6 months or a year.
Yeah, there's certain people who you just want to avoid, and not necessarily because you don't like them, but because out of respect, you know what they do. You don't want them involved. Obviously, we love, the FBI obviously does a great job. As soon as the FBI is involved in something regarding you, that's...
if the FBI says we're looking at something, you'd be like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
What did I do?
Yeah. If Pablo Torre is investigating, then I totally agree. And
I got to be honest, I read some of those text messages that were listed there. It sure sounds like insider trading. I'm not saying that it is because I don't know SEC rules. He's outwardly in the text messages saying, this guy told me they're getting ready to make a public announcement that's going to affect the stock share. See ya in a bit.
Yeah,
feels like insider trading.
Yeah, getting that sort of insight ahead, it does feel very shady as the similar situation.
And he got in trouble for
sports betting on, hey, this guy's not going to play tonight, so bet on this team to lose or whatever. It just feels shady. Just stay out of your own way. You can, if you're Phil Mickelson, you can go to the casino and you can wager money and all that stuff. But why do you have to take it? Why do you got to go the extra mile in this extra step? You have enough money that you can fool around a little bit. You don't have to be not smart.
I would think after he took that live money, he wouldn't need any more. I mean, reportedly he needed that money because he was not great with his. But I
don't remember what his contract was there, but the money that they're paying out, yeah, exactly. The money that they're paying out, it doesn't matter.
Celebrity net worth says he's worth $300 million. So
does it really?
I don't know if he's actually worth that, but
he's got to be one of the wealthiest in terms of net worth athletes of all time. Then,
yeah,
with that sort of a.
Probably up there.
Of a range?
When we come back, we'll talk more about that game last night, why I'm not taking the Broncos serious, and you can't make me. Plus, there's something happening in Major League Baseball that I think applies to the other leagues, the NFL specifically, and why I think it's an arms race. I'll tell you why next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Do yourself a favor and get the health of your roof checked out. And the people to call, Century Roofing. They're locally owned and operated. Genuinely great people. I love interacting with them. They've worked on my roof multiple times, and they have experience. Locally owned, I like that because it means they're easier to get in touch with, easier to know who you're dealing with. And you get to keep money in the community, which is a nice thing to do as well. But they've done over 30,000 roofs in the Kansas City area for over 35 years. So I know they have the experience to deal with an insurance company if it's worth filing a claim. I know they'll give me a free estimate on whether it requires repairs or a replacement. And they won't just talk me into a replacement unless that is needed. They did 2 roof repairs for my house when I thought a replacement might be needed. And instead, we did some fixes that extended the life of my roof and will for years. Don't let a small problem become a big problem. Water in your house, that can do real damage, and you don't want those kind of issues. So before winter hits and before that snow starts hitting your roof, don't let that become a bigger issue. And schedule your free estimate today over at Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength. Go with KC-based and female-owned Century Roofing. CenturyRoofingKC.com and tell them that Cody sent you.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hellsberg gifts checked off the list. Now, time for wrapping. Earrings for mom. A gold bracelet to match the rings Danielle wears every day. And for dad, a new watch, because we all know he needs one. All right, this is gonna be a good one.
Our favorite things for your favorite people. Shop in store at hellsberg.com for up to 50% off.
No Kansas City child should go hungry, and that's why Kids Eat Free this week at Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee's here to help families in need with healthy and affordable meals. From now through Friday, get $3 hot meals for dine-in or carry-out from 4 to 7 p.m. daily, and kids under 12 eat free. Choose from delicious nightly specials like spaghetti and meat sauce, chicken and noodles, chili, or sesame chicken, just $3 per person, and kids eat free. Get involved by purchasing a $5 or $10 food bank bundle and help us restock our local pantries on a daily basis. In these uncertain times, Kansas City can count on Hy-Vee.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Time for Hy-Vee's holiday baking sale. Make your list and check it twice. Time to stock up on the sweetest deals of the year, like Hy-Vee sugar, $1.99, brown sugar, $1.48, Hy-Vee butter, $2.49, peanut butter, $1.88, and don't forget the Hy-Vee pumpkin pie filling, just 88 cents. Jump in your sleigh and dash away this Friday through Sunday at Hy-Vee.
FanDuel Friday is turning it up with an NBA happy hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. FanDuel is dropping limited time specials to get you in the zone. Boost, bonus, surprises, all designed to give you that Friday energy. This isn't just another promo. It's your weekly pregame NBA happy hour every Friday, 6 to 7:30 Eastern, only on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. So visit FanDuel.com/KFNZ. Use my promo code to grab your reward before the clock expires. Celebrate the beginning of the NBA season in style. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of the NBA and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expirations, league requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Hi, I'm Nick. And I'm Adam.
We started Legacy Box so that family memories would be safe and could always be enjoyed together.
And starting now, we're offering listeners early access to our best deal of the year during our $9 tape sale.
1 million families and counting have trusted Legacy Box to convert their aging media because Legacy Box is safe, simple, and affordable.
From fading over time to risks like fire and water damage, your videotapes, film reels, and photos aren't protected unless they're on a digital format.
With the holidays approaching, don't wait. Simply fill your Legacy Box. We'll take care of the rest.
It's the most meaningful thing you can do this holiday season, and the perfect time during our best sale of the year.
Visit legacybox.com/value to get early access to our Black Friday sale and digitize your memories for only $9 a tape. Visit legacybox.com/value. legacybox.com/value.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me, like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
God dang!
Brought to you by Telly Tire and Auto Centers. Winning starts with a great drive. Since 1942, Telly's certified techs have delivered complete car care with top brand tires and expert auto service. Keep your drive going. Take it to Telly. Visit TellyTire.com today.
Number one on What's Trending, the Broncos did beat the Raiders last night 10-7. It was 7.5, which means there was a whole 3 points scored. It was one of the ugliest games of the year. Legitimately, it was hideous. Unwatchable for a huge chunk of it. I mean, for the entire third quarter, I just watched the new episode of Taskmaster rather than watch that game.
You missed anything?
I didn't miss anything. Didn't even matter. Bo Nix did not look particularly good. Neither did Ashton Genty or any other player on the field for that matter. But the Broncos did get the win. They go to 8-2 on the season. Now 2.5 full games ahead of Kansas City. Obviously, those two teams will take on each other next week. Very similar points scored and points against for those two teams right now, although Denver has played one more additional game.
Next up on What's Trending, we got some college basketball tonight. KU is playing UNC tonight. It's a good matchup.
Huge matchup, yeah.
That'll be on ESPN if you still have it. Missouri also playing SEMO tonight in college hoops. And then tomorrow, K-State has Bellarmine at 7 p.m. So college hoops, we're getting right back into it. Some good action.
Yeah, KU, UNC, that's interesting. Over on the text line, someone was like, hey, guys, got any suggestions? I have YouTube TV, lost ESPN. What would you suggest I do to watch the KU game? I said just go get a free trial for Fubo or Sling or Hulu TV. And
trials are the way to go.
Trial
That's what
for
I'm doing.
a week or whatever. Just bounce between them until eventually they resolve this issue.
Hopefully.
You want to know the truth? That's probably what I would do. Or you go find you go to Carrington's page. He might have a link up for you. He usually does. Next up on What's Trending, KC Current will have their first playoff game at home this Sunday against Gotham FC, taking off at 11:30. It's a nationally televised game. Of course, as well, the KC Current setting all kinds of NWSL regular season records. Now the question whether or not their playoff run will go longer than last year's that ended in the semifinals. If they win the game against Gotham FC on Sunday, they will go on to play a quarterfinal match at home. And of course, by the way, if you missed it, KC Current gave away the Temwa Shawinga bobbleheads. Very popular, going for like hundreds of dollars over on the secondary reseller sites right now. You have a chance to win one right now over at 965thefan.com. That's where we're giving you a chance to win several of them, honestly. Go to 965thefan.com. Chance to win an exclusive limited edition KC Current bobblehead. Of course, Temwa Shawinga. Brought to you by H&R Block, celebrating 70 years of tax expertise with hometown roots in the soccer capital of America. Head over there if you want a chance to get one. Very, very popular item. My daughter ripped the box to shreds, but
Hey, it's all. Hey,
she's already up on the shelf. I got I have a small handful of bobbleheads, and it's Vinnie as a Pasquatch, Bobby Witt Jr. is sliding, Rusty Kuntz talking bobblehead, and now Chewinga.
There you go.
It's a
Love
very exclusive group.
Start the collectible, collection. Next up on what's trending, Jaden Daniels. This is interesting. He won't immediately be placed on IR after he got some good news from his MRI showing 0 structural damage. It's crazy because
I think it'd be a mistake to play him.
I agree.
Season's over.
I never saw the replay, but given how gruesome it looked, the fact that he had
bad.
0 structural damage is a miracle. It seems like, given the way that it seemed like in the replay.
They seemed shocked themselves that it was 0 structural damage. They said they're going to reevaluate after the bye.
Man,
they're just going to take the bye and then see. So I have a hard time imagining that's the case.
How
because
far are they
the
out of the playoffs
Broncos
right
have
now?
them on the schedule.
Let me see.
I mean, they're like 3 wins. So I mean,
That's what I'm saying. The Washington Commanders are currently they're 14th in the NFC. They're 3-6. They're a full 2.5 games out of a playoff spot. There's no reason, none, to bring him back.
No,
Cody.
I mean, and if you do, it better be late in the season. Do not risk rescuing him back after the bye week just because you're like his elbow feels fine now. Lastly, on what's trending, announced earlier, this is another thing you'll need that free trial for. Over on ESPN, Patrick Mahomes will be the guest picker on College Game Day. I called it, Drew.
Yes, you did.
On Monday, we were talking about it. I said, I bet Patrick Mahomes would be the guest picker down there in Lubbock. You had said, hey, has that been announced yet? I said, nah, it just makes too much sense.
It does.
Him, Texas Tech. It's a bye week. It all lines up so perfectly. So Patrick Mahomes will be the guest picker for Texas Tech's huge game.
Who do you think he's going to take?
This Saturday. I believe he's going to take Texas
The school
Tech.
he went to, the school that has jerseys that are basically made after it.
Yeah, something tells me. Something tells me he'll be fine. And that he will choose
It's the biggest game they've had since they beat Texas when Brett Musburger was on the call. I don't even remember what year that was. 2006, 7, 8.
Yeah, and even then, like that only became one of the biggest because they won it.
Correct.
Like, because of the chance to like win a national championship, win the Big 12 and all this stuff. This is a huge game against BYU. One of the biggest in their program's history. Remember, Texas Tech was not some like they're only recently coming into the scene because they're spending humongous money, have the backing of Patrick Mahomes and others, and it seems to be working at least in the early going. Coming up in about 10 minutes, I'm going to tell you about something that happened in Major League Baseball. And I know you're like, what? It's November. Trust me, it makes sense where I think it might be an arms race between multiple leagues. But last night, I watched almost all of, let's say, I missed maybe 5 minutes of the third quarter of the Denver Broncos and Raiders game. And fine, text line can say this, and I am happy to eat my words if that's what takes place. From the 816, what excuses are we going to make when they lose to Denver? This is an excuse-free game. There is no excuse. I have no fear of them. It is legitimately one of the least impressive winning streaks I've ever seen. They're not good. They are staying alive. The defense is keeping them alive. The defense is good. I'm not trying to dismiss that. The defense is obviously very good. As a result of that, it is keeping them in games. I have never been less impressed by a 5-game winning streak than what I have seen this year. They have one quality win, and I'm not saying Kansas City's got a bunch. They don't. They have like 2 or a quality win too against Philadelphia, in which they looked their best. They have beaten the Jets, Giants, Cowboys, Houston, and Raiders. If you did an NFL draft right now, those teams would be picking all 1 through 10 in the NFL draft, and they are doing it by the skin of their teeth. The fact that Bo Nix could get nothing going against the Raiders, who have a bad defense, a bad team. They're an awful team. And the defense just kept handing him the ball back and handing him the ball back. And then somehow Bo Nix was putting the Raiders in better field position because they couldn't even like get a first down. That was about as inept as I've ever seen their offense look. And Bo Nix has looked bad this year. He has not looked impressive. And so, like, I just don't fear them. And maybe I'm wrong. I like Kansas City in this game. More than, like, I feel more confident than I did in the Bills game for sure. Maybe not as confident as the Raiders game we were coming in here, but it's somewhere in between those two, Drew. I feel very good about this.
Well, and I think that the fact that Pat Surtain is not going to be playing in that game should also help ease your concern a little bit. It does feel like this team is like the complete opposite of the Denver Broncos, that being then the Cowboys or the Bengals, where Obviously, the Cowboys and the Bengals have outstanding offenses. Electric can hang 40 on you at any time, but the defenses stink. The Broncos' defense can hold you to less than 13 points, and it doesn't look like it's that difficult. They're that good. But offensively, they are in every single game. And somehow, to what you guys talked about earlier in the week, if Bo Nix hasn't turned into a different quarterback in the last quarter of seemingly all these games, the Broncos are maybe 500, which I think, to your point,
and 500 not playing good football, where like if they had one or two more losses, you wouldn't respect them at all.
Yeah, and to
the wins are the only thing that's keeping me thinking that they're decent.
Yeah, and to your point, the fact that they keep on skating by barely, right on a razor's thin edge of losing these games, makes me feel like their luck, if they do win the division, if they make the playoffs, it feels like they will, given their record, but it feels like their luck will run out because they're using all of it right now in the season where, yes, they're finding ways to win, but they don't feel like a good football team. And last year, the Chiefs obviously got by with a lot of close wins, but they still had Patrick Mahomes, and we know the difference between Bo Nix and Patrick Mahomes is obviously very significant.
Their next 3 games are against Kansas City, Washington on the road, which I guess could be different because that's a bye. That'd be November 30th. Maybe I'd view that game different if Jaden Daniels actually plays, Drew. And that would be 23 days from now. So I guess if they're saying they're going to evaluate him after the bye week, there's at least a chance they would entertain Jaden Daniels. The Raiders, who are awful, it'll be at Vegas this time, and I do think they'll still beat despite the fact that that game was close. But their final 4 are Green Bay, Jacksonville, Kansas City, and the Chargers. 3 at home. And that's where, like, I still think Kansas City's got a really good chance to do it because I don't think Denver's getting through this. First off, it's just a wash if you win both of your games against Denver, which I'm feeling better about based on what I saw from Denver last night and what I've seen from Denver during this winning streak. So it's a wash if you just win your games against them. Then it's you got to play better in your remaining 5 games than they do. Their remaining 5 games, when you take out the common, playing each other, Washington, Vegas, Green Bay, Jacksonville, and LA. So 3 hard games and 2 what should be easier games, although the Washington one with Jaden Daniels, let's see. Right? So it's like, it's not the easiest schedule by any means because there's 3 games that I think are very much coin flips or very losable games. 1 in Washington in which I'd like to make a decision on whether or not they have a starting quarterback, and 1 against the Raiders that I do think they'll win. All right, let's take out the Denver games. Who are the Chiefs' remaining opponents? Indianapolis, Dallas, Houston, the Titans, and the Raiders. And so you're like, And then 1 game against the Chargers. You're like, does that seem all that bad? Like, that's the part where it's like, I kind of like the Chiefs' schedule better. You just got to play better than them and beat them. I do think the Chiefs have a good chance at it. Some of it's just, I watched that game. Now, I got to say, the Raiders are awful. I don't.
They're not good.
They brought in Pete Carroll, and he was supposed to be a program stabilizer the way Andy Reid was. And to this point, man.
No.
Are we sure the game, it was pretty bad the last couple of years in Seattle. Are we sure the game just didn't pass him by? And that was the reason why Seattle pushed him out. And by the way, Seattle made the right call. I wouldn't exactly say Mike McDonald's not working out.
Oh, yeah.
It's working out like gangbusters.
It could also just be the Raiders, or the organization is just, he's become a subject of what that organization has been. I do think it's interesting because people on the text line, from the 913, like the Chiefs' little luck ran out last year. Yes, but to a different degree. This is why, Cody, you are, I think, absolutely correct to not believe in Denver, is because, yes, the Chiefs and Broncos, the Chiefs from last year and the Broncos this year are very similar teams. However,
winning close games, winning ugly.
You could argue lucky the defense was making plays and Pat gave credit to the defense, whatever the case is, blocking field goals, everything. The difference was when you felt like it got to the playoffs and you needed a guy to perform, you knew Patrick Mahomes would show up and elevate the roster, where we don't think, based on the quarterback play that we have seen from Bo Nix, that even if they do win the division, which I think they will, and even if they do get to host, it doesn't feel like Denver can win a playoff game against top-tier competition because, to your point about the little winning streak,
not yet.
And play nobody in that stretch. And also, Bo Nix, the way he's playing, doesn't look like, let's say it even is a close game. Let's say Denver's defense is great, they're elite, and Bo Nix has to go down and win you let's say it's 13-10. It's an ugly football game, but Bo Nix has a shot to go win you the game. I don't think, how much confidence do you have that he can do that?
None.
And I know that he's shown up late in games, but it feels like to me I would have very little confidence that Bo Nix can do that against the best teams in the NFL when it comes down to the playoffs. That's where the difference is, I think, where the Chiefs' luck ran out in the Super Bowl and the Broncos' luck would run out in the first round the next round.
You get to point out, and it's more than fair. You can be like, hey, but look, we just talked about this. Look at what the Chiefs did. All the other stuff, right? Look what they're doing. Okay, fine. Can we admit that there's one massive thing that you are ignoring in this, which is one of these teams has a slightly different pedigree. So even if you think on paper, and I don't think that they look the same level of bad, even if you on paper think that what the Chiefs were doing in the middle of the season last year mirrors that of what the Denver Broncos are doing, there are a couple of key differences. One is quarterbacked by Bo Nix, a nobody, and one is quarterbacked by Patrick Mahomes. One of them had 1 back-to-back Super Bowls and 3 with their coach and quarterback combination, and one hadn't won a playoff game. So even if they're playing in likeness, they are not the same because history is on Kansas City's side in this scenario. And I don't want to just lose sight of the fact that, yeah, it is different when Kansas City plays mediocre. Yes, it is different when Kansas City doesn't play their best football or doesn't look the same or looks slightly off and still manages to find a way to win. Because one of them is coached by Andy Reid and quarterbacked by Patrick Mahomes and has a bunch of damn hardware. And one is a second-year quarterback who looks shaky. So, they're just not, it's just not the same. Even if I get Peyton the ring he had with Breeze, it's just not the same. That's
and even though Pat didn't have that great of a year last year, it felt like he was still able to come up when it mattered. Like there were moments where Patrick Mahomes needed to be as good as he had ever been, and he was. I just don't know if we get that from Bo Nix. And look, they might go on. Let's say Denver does go on to the AFC Championship game. Hey, you know what? Maybe Bo Nix found something and then they got going. But it does feel like this offense for Denver just isn't capable of giving the same level of output when it comes down to the playoffs. Because, I mean, if it's anything like sports in general, there's playoff football is different than regular season football. It feels like that's the same with every sport. Playoff baseball is different than regular baseball because of situations and how you manage the game. Playoff basketball is different. Defenses play a lot tougher in the playoffs compared to the regular season. Like things can shift to make things a little bit even more difficult than what they seem to be for Bo Nix currently, and that's when you only put up 10 points against that Raiders team. It doesn't make people believe in you.
No. Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll talk about a name that's popping up in the Royals offseason. Plus, a big Major League player was posted. We'll talk a little bit about that because I do think it's an interesting offseason for the Royals and something Vinnie had said earlier in the show to us that I think applies to this conversation. But something took place in Major League Baseball, and I think it points to something that I think is going to be a race. I had mentioned this to you before the show a little bit, Drew. So the ratings for Game 7 of the World Series came out a couple of days ago. And it said that MLB had 51 million average viewers watch Game 7 in the U.S., Canada, and Japan combined, making it the most watched game globally in 34 years. And look, it's a perfect storm. You get big teams, big names, the entire Japanese market, and all of Canada, right? You don't always get that luxury, but that's the point. I think seeing those numbers is only going to further convince these leagues that it needs to be an arms race to get a team in a foreign country. Because the NFL has been toying with it for years, but just can't pull the trigger yet on a full European division of a team in London, a team in Germany, or 2 teams in Germany, 2 teams in London, or whatever extra division they want to create to go with it. Baseball's got a bigger problem, as in because you have full series, you can't necessarily take them over an ocean. So you would have to be looking at, do you put a team in Mexico City? Do you put a team in some of these other countries that have really good known MLB fan bases? Or do you risk doing the same thing, getting to London or these things where you send people over for a series and stack off days around it? Because it's going to be a race. Numbers like that are why these leagues are looking to go overseas with teams. And not just a visit. It's like if you put a team there permanently, think about how much bigger your reach is.
It does feel, because I think you're right in the fact that the first option, because of the series aspect and everything, would be Mexico, whether it be Mexico City or somewhere else. It feels like that's the spot. Did Chicago play a game? Did the Cubs play in London or in England this year?
Maybe.
Was it Europe? Because I'm trying to think of, and again, not that Europe doesn't follow baseball to the same level, but I wonder if would the league be better off putting a team in Mexico City or better off putting a team in London?
Nobody
from
played
the
in London
standpoint of-
this year. The Mets and Phillies played in 2024.
Okay.
And in 2026, the Yankees and Blue Jays will play a series there.
It feels like football's closer to getting a franchise overseas just because they've been experimenting, in particular with Europe, I think, because it just...
Or do they just like the one-offs, you know? Because I think, here's the problem I think NFLs have, is that I think the NFL thinks that they have to add 4. That the only way to justify this is that if you got 4 teams playing a total of 6 games against each other, all locked in over there, where you at least eliminate the teams, because if you just put 1 team in London, well, first, then you got to add a second team somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
You put 2 teams over there. 2 teams isn't enough for a division, so you're making those 2 teams travel an insane amount more than pretty much every other team in the NFL. You make a conference, you make a division, then you can justify it. In Major League Baseball, you can just add 1 or 2. It's series. Like, you're spread out. You take big, long road trips. So you'd be in London for 10 games. And look, I would assume that the way baseball would do it is for the first time ever, rather than have, if let's say you're in the division with the London-based team and you have 13 games against them, I'm guessing you're doing that in 2 road trips, 6 games and 7 games. And they're just going to squeeze you there for the week. Like, I think in baseball, it's actually easier to make it work schedule-wise in a weird way. And they're used to just being on the road for 2 weeks at a time, a week at a time. Like, that's not that uncommon, I guess.
When you do look at the numbers, though, and you see, like, the global audience for these games, it does make you think, if you're based on what we've seen from commissioners across all sports,
yeah,
they want to make money, and what better way to do that?
There's nowhere else to go but out.
Yes, exactly. What better way to expand? It is. The NFL thing is interesting because I know we've had the conversation before about them maybe making a whole division. The thing with the NFL, though, is that they've already got a perfect balance of divisions. So to make it work in the NFL, would it have to be 2 divisions actually just to make things balanced in the AFC and the NFC? Like, how exactly, you know what I'm saying? How would that work? Because if you add 1 division, then you've got 4 in the AFC, 4 in the NFC, and then you've got 1 outlier. And I don't know how you make that work unless you make another division, but unless you, for whatever reason, which would be crazy to me.
But you do 1 NFC, 1 AFC, and they're just traveling all the time.
But see, that also, if you're talking about adding 8 teams too, then you're talking about 2
you
in
don't
one.
have the quarterbacks for that.
Yes.
Someone's complaining about the quarterbacks for 4. You imagine the quality of quarterback play. We got Dylan Gabriel starting this weekend with Shadur Sanders backing him up. I think they just announced he'll be the 2.
Yeah, or maybe I don't know how you would do it for the playoffs. It'd be a little bit screwy where maybe the Europe-based division winner automatically gets into the playoffs, but you put them as like a 7 seed. That's where it gets really, really messed up.
Or do they just keep doing one-off games? You know,
it feels like the one-off games. I think to your point, I don't know how the divisions shake out exactly in baseball. If it'd be easier to make a division in baseball compared to a division in the National Football League in terms of playoff balance, I think is mainly where I'm going with it and thinking of how the format would look.
Well, here's the thing. First off, in baseball, they already have imbalanced divisions. So they don't technically have to add anybody. They've already...
They just add a team to teams 2 divisions, you're saying.
Because they have 30 teams, not 32, they are already imbalanced.
Yeah.
So, like, you could add 2 teams, 1 in Mexico City, 1 in Europe, both in Europe, whatever you want to do.
Sure.
You can add... You can do it that way and not... There's already divisions that don't have the same number of teams. So, like, you already have an imbalance and I guess can create it and work around at least to that end. Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll talk about the potential huge name that's being mentioned, at least in the Royals offseason, even if I think it's a long shot, and how that relates to what Vinnie told us earlier in the show. I will pass along one note. I saw the KC Current. Remember we said they got their playoff game this Sunday? I saw who's going to... They lead in the KC baby chant, so they always have like a person come out and say it'll be Spags this week.
Hey, let's go.
Spags going out to the game to do the KC baby chant, which I think will be a lot of fun. Obviously looking forward to the KC Current playoff game, which we'll talk about for a little bit later in the show, and maybe with Harold Kuntz, who's coming in for Fan Club at 1. But when we come back, I'm going to tell you about a name that's being mentioned by John Heyman as a potential Royals target. How realistic is it? I'll tell you what the general manager said to me.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trey Smith. You're listening to Cody and Gold weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
You've got a ton of equity in your home. You're sitting on a gold mine. You could do so much with all that cash, like travel, invest it, or pay off debt. But you can't touch it unless you sell your home. But you really don't want to move. And besides, homes are sitting on the market a long time these days. You're trapped, right? Not with TrueHold. With TrueHold, you can cash out your equity in as little as 30 days. But listen, you don't have to move. You can stay in the home you love as a renter. That's TrueHold's Sell and Stay program. Cash out your entire home's value and stay put. TrueHold even covers property taxes, property insurance, and essential repairs. Imagine using that equity to travel, invest, or pay off debt. And you can stay in your home. It's brilliant, especially in this slow market. Get your all-cash offer now. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
FanDuel Friday is turning it up with an NBA happy hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. FanDuel is dropping limited time specials to get you in the zone. Boost, bonus, surprises, all designed to give you that Friday energy. This isn't just another promo. It's your weekly pregame NBA happy hour every Friday, 6 to 7:30 Eastern, only on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. So visit FanDuel.com/KFNZ. Use my promo code to grab your reward before the clock expires. Celebrate the beginning of the NBA season in style. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of the NBA and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expirations, league requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement. Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Bud Light and Tanners are teaming up to make every college game day legendary. Every Saturday, rep your college team, catch every play, and enjoy $15 buckets. Only at Kansas area Tanners locations. Bud Light and Tanners. From the stands to the bar, your game day headquarters.
This holiday season, make holiday travel a little brighter with Park & Go. All covered parking means your car stays safe from the snow and ice, so you can come home to comfort, not a scraper. Plus, Park & Go's friendly shuttle is ready and waiting the moment you park. No standing out in the cold. Fast and easy and open 24/7. Park & Go offers top-notch service at the lowest price. Once you try Park & Go, you'll never travel without it. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. From the Park & Go family to yours, happy holidays.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Back in here on Cody and Gold. Cody Tapp with you. Drew Nixon on the other side of the glass. We appreciate Heis dropping by for a little bit earlier in the show. Harold Kuntz from Fox 4 is going to pop in for a little fan club coming up at 1 o'clock. Brought to you by Jay Rieger and Company. We'll be having Rye Manhattans today, Drew.
All right.
Curacao, sweet vermouth, rye whiskey.
I don't know what some of those are. I've heard of
bitters.
Yeah, as long as it's good, I guess,
Yeah, you have to try it. Have you ever had a Manhattan before?
Well, yeah, I've had a Manhattan. I've never worked in a bar though, so in terms of the putting together of a drink like that, I don't know the ingredients, if you will. But yeah, I've had a Manhattan and they're very good, so I'm looking forward to it.
Text line and over on Twitch, why not? And some others were pointing out. It's a good point. Like the biggest hiccup with, it's not even like the regular season part of it. Drew had said if you got a game, you've got a team in London and now you got to work out a playoff schedule. They got to play on wild card weekend and come back.
Yeah.
Like there's a legitimate playoff part that is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like because you can build in double buys and you can build in things in the regular season to get rid of some of the jet lag and to maneuver that in some ways.
I do think
and it's tough.
I think what they're doing right now by going to Spain and Frankfurt and Munich and London, they're trying to find the best spot to host a Super Bowl. I think that's
might be it.
They are testing different places in different countries to see which one do we have the first Super Bowl, the first international Super Bowl at.
So I'm gonna bring up a name. Not because I think it's realistic for the Royals at the moment, but I'm going to bring it up because I think that there might be something at play here this offseason. JJ Piccolo joined us earlier this week. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. He joined us on the show and he talked about their offseason and why he thought starting pitching could be a good avenue and their catching depth could be a good avenue to acquire some of the hitting that they require. John Heyman, who is very dialed into the Royals, mentioned Bo Bichette as a possible target for the Royals this offseason, citing their aggressiveness. As a reminder, Bo Bichette hit .311 this year with a .357 on-base percentage and an .840 slug. He was coming off a bad year the year before in Toronto, but 3 really good years before that. So we'll wash away the injury-riddled 81-game season and just assume that that ain't him, and that when he led the league in hits in 2021 and 2022 and hit .311 with a .357 on base, that's it. The projected contract for him right now over at MLB.com is like $225 million a year. Or not a year, total. Like a $200 to $225 million deal. Somewhere in that like $40 to $50 million range per year. It's a lot, as you can imagine, for a team like the Royals. Here's why I'm going to tell you that while it's a long shot and probably won't happen, even though I'm not trying to make it seem like, it's around the corner. Why what I think Vinnie said to us earlier in the show means there's a chance. If you ask around the league, the Royals have been players in free agency with some of the higher priced players over the last couple of years. No, I don't think they're posting whatever hundreds of millions of dollars it'll cost for the Japanese stars getting ready to come into Major League Baseball. He'll probably be a Yankee or a Dodger or whatever. But with Bo Bichette, they have shown a willingness to attempt to throw big money at some free agents. And what Vinnie said earlier, I think is true. He said, I'm not just saying this because I play for him. I think John Sherman is one of the best owners in sports. And do you know why? Because John Sherman thinks you have to spend money to win. He genuinely believes that as a practice. In talking to him and talking to people who are around him, David Glass didn't feel that way. Not every time. Maybe later when they were winning. Lots of owners in baseball, football, do not feel that way. They think that they can numbers their way to the system that is better than everyone else and find their way to look what the Twins did. They cut every single high-priced player. They traded every single high-priced player off their roster. And they're going to rebuild and go young and hope that it all gets there and do this stuff. I do honestly think that John Sherman thinks part of the way in which you have to win is to spend money. So one of these times, I think he's going to take a free agency swing. One of these times, I think he's going to give a bunch of money to somebody that isn't Bobby Wood Jr. And because this roster, I think, is actually relatively cheap, this is a really good time to take on a contract like that. Vinny still has years of control. Look, I'd give Vinny an extension, but that still wouldn't mean he's 4 years into his deal. Add 2 more years. I mean, you're not going to pay him for years. Vinny's cheap. India's cheap. Salvi's $12.5 million a year. He's not that expensive. Who in your starting staff's costing you a ton of money? Walker? Cole Reagans are still dirt cheap. Noah Cameron costs nothing. They don't even have a lot of high-priced talent. It all adds up. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying they're not paying anybody. They do have the 15th to 20th payroll or whatever in any given year. But this, in my opinion, is a really good year to pay a guy. And if you're going to give it to somebody, pay it to a guy who can hit at the top of your lineup, can play an infield position, and you can move Michael Garcia to a different spot and find a hitter like this. I think it's a long shot. I think largely because convincing Bo Bichette to take your money instead of somebody else's is going to be hard. That, I think, is actually the tougher sell. I think you could convince John Sherman to pony up $200 million or get close to the number that he is worth. I think it is harder to convince Bo Bichette to do it. Right now, the Royals' payroll is set at $83 million. It currently ranks 16th in Major League Baseball. Last year, they spent around $120. Doing some numbers there, Drew, in your head? 120 to 85. Oh, yeah, we're real close to Bo's number. And do you see a lot of additions? They don't have to add starting pitching. They don't have to add a ton of bullpen, maybe a little. They're not adding other position players if they add Bo Bichette. They're cheap. Carter Jensen makes nothing. Jack makes nothing. So young players there. Your stars, Vinny makes nothing. He's going to make a couple $1 million this year. So when the moment's there, why not go after Bo Bichette?
I do wonder. No, it's not necessarily a concern because obviously, they can move some players around and make it work. But the fact that he's an infielder, it would be nice, and maybe this is just nitpicking, but it would be nice to just get a player who is a natural outfielder
to play
that
the outfield.
Has the bat to just play the outfield, and then
but he's the best bat,
Right, 100%. And that obviously is the area of need that you want to focus on if you're the Royals to try to improve. It's just that I haven't looked, so I don't know what the outfield options are. I mean, maybe this is where you trade for a guy that is an outfielder who you can give a big contract to, or who is due for one potentially soon,
or is already paid decent money.
100%. I think that not that that's again, that might be a nitpicking thing where, hey, you know what? Bo Bichette traded, he plays third, or signed, he plays third.
You're saying go give Cody Bellinger money or something.
Yeah, but I think to an extent, I don't know what the ceiling is for how old Cody Bellinger is compared to Bo Bichette and what the trajectory is, at least in terms of their
Bo
playing
Bichette's
career.
27.
Yeah, and then I don't know what Cody Bellinger is. I'm going to guess 31 or 2, something like that.
I would have guessed 34.
Oh, he might be okay, even still. But I think
I could be wrong. I don't remember. He just feels like he's been in the league forever.
But I think you're right for a player.
30.
I mean,
it'll be 31.
So maybe you pay Cody Bellinger instead of Bo Bichette, I know that sounds crazy because maybe Bo might be the better player, but it's out of position. Do you feel willing to try and make the move and take a player like Michael and move him to the outfield after he just won a Gold Glove? It makes sense for the batting purposes, but I think it would be kind of nice if there was an option to put a guy in the outfield who's natural at that position where you can keep the infield solidified at least in back-to-back seasons.
And I understand, like the text line saying he's not going to spend that much. They're pretty much middle of the road. They're not going to spend more unless you know for sure that that's going to be the case. And there's other names worth mentioning, and people are mentioning them over there. Kyle Tucker, some of the Joe Adell, Taylor
I think
Ward
Kyle Tucker would
combos.
be interesting.
Yeah, there are lots of good players. Look, my fear, Drew, is that if they don't actually take this like swing, then what you're going to end up with is, and I liked him, he was fine to have here, but you're going to end up with another like Yastrzemski level player. And I think legitimately, if you
Not
look at
what you really need.
fine if you want to call this Royals homerism. If I look at the team as it's constructed right now, they are not that far off from being a contender in the AL Central. They had and will maintain every single pitcher off of a playoff caliber rotation last year. They will keep all of the back end bullpen guys who led the charge a good chunk of the way. They still have the same superstar shortstop. Michael Garcia is going to have to maintain his level of play, so that's a challenge, admittedly. Vinnie, way more likely to just maintain his level of play because he's been a consistent big leaguer when he's been up. Salvi and Carter hasn't changed. Like, they're one, I think they're one hitter away from being a viable MLB offense. Do I think they're the Dodgers on offense if they get Bo Bichette or any offensive player? No. But they are one hitter away from at least being viable, Drew.
So would
like not being the kind of offense that goes quiet for 8 weeks.
All right, so I went ahead and I pulled up Kyle Tucker's stats. Would you take this? So
let me hear it.
So his batting average last year was 266. That was it was one of his actually worst seasons as a pro, but from an on-base percentage-wise, he was actually better than any season aside from 2024. He had a 377 on-base percentage. Slug was 464. Had 22 homers last year, 73 RBIs. Traditionally in the low 20s to mid-20s. With home runs, RBIs had as much as 112 in 2023. I don't know if is that the level of guy that you want? Where again, he's 3 years removed from that year where he had 112 RBIs. He's 28.
I'll be honest. Sadly, the Royals buy a lot in that market. They buy a lot in the. Remember what he was a couple of years ago. Jonathan India is the exact player they just did that with.
I was going to say, does he fit into that Yastrzemski or Jonathan India
no,
category?
No, he's better.
Where you don't want to get him?
No, he's above those guys.
Okay, so
he had a 377 on base percentage and a career 358. He gets on base, he can hit near the top of your order, and he plays natural outfield. So he was a 4-WAR player last year. He's maybe not in the category of Bo Bichette because of. But he's not far off.
You would take a guy like that in a heartbeat because he's a natural outfielder and for all those other things.
Instantaneously. And look, it doesn't have to be Bichette. I mentioned him because Heyman brought him up.
And obviously, again, if we're talking big players on the market, like Bo Bichette is one of the biggest names, if not the biggest name, like in regards to players.
This is a good year to go for a swing. It's a good year to go for a swing. It just makes sense. It aligns with where you are, and you should strongly, strongly, strongly consider it. Coming up in 15 minutes, Harold Kuntz of Fox 4 will join us for a little Fan Club Friday. But earlier today, if you were listening, we did Random Question of the Day. We talked about gifts for the Pope, which means we're flipping it, and instead we're going to do Trash Now.
Trash of the Day.
I'm going to make everyone's Friday feel super weird, Drew.
Oh, boy.
I'm switching things up, doing things at different times. I got to lead them both, so... Why not do it a little bit different? I'll let Heis ask the Random Question of the Day. I still want us to get to Trash of the Day, where we head over to Japan. Just talking about him as it relates to baseball. Well, if you're looking for something to do when you're in Japan, you could always, and according to the headline of this story, sniff some animal butts. And if you're saying, what the hell are you talking about? That's a fair question. The Otoa Aquarium in Kobe, Japan.
An aquarium is doing this.
Has an unusual exhibit that lets visitors smell what different animal butts smell like. The display features framed portraits of animals, including penguins, tigers, hippos, koalas, each with a small hole near the picture. When people lean in and sniff through the holes, they get a whiff of what the animals behind smells like. The smells are fake and created artificially. They are safe to breathe, it says. It says the exhibit is meant to teach people how animals use smell to communicate with each other and figure out things with health and mood. Videos of people sniffing the portraits have gone viral online. What do you think, Drew?
Hang on.
Are you interested in an aquarium exhibit?
No.
To smelling an animal's butt?
No. Do I have to pay for this? No.
I don't know. Like, it sounds like it's just, it sounds like a
even
free exhibit.
Even if it's free, I would say no.
Why not? Mix it
Because-
up a little bit.
No, I know.
I love the zoo. I love going to the zoo.
I love the zoo so much. I would go to the zoo. This might be. I would go to the zoo by myself and just enjoy seeing all the animals. But I would not go to an exhibit where I would embrace the sense of smell out of animals' butts. That's because look, I appreciate nature and I appreciate all the things that make what we live in today what we live in today. I appreciate the cohesiveness of smells and sound and all those other things. I don't have to experience it. I can appreciate that animals have a sense of smell, and that can help them do a variety of different things, just like our sense of smell helps us as well. But I don't need to. I don't need to experience this. I will pass.
I'm just not interested.
Are you? Are you into? Would you do it? I don't need to.
I don't know, maybe. I mean, you know, I liked all those zoos.
But this is the thing. You get that first whiff. You don't even know, like, you name like 5 or 6 animals. You get the first whiff, and if it's really bad, it's like, man, I might be done. Like, I don't know if I can take this.
Oh, man. Somebody said this sounds like somebody who'd be, oh, man. Text line got dark with it in a hurry. That's not surprising. But, yeah, immediately got it dark with it. Somebody mentioned Kyle Tucker's line, the longest of long shot. He's going to get a 10-year contract probably. Yeah, I understand.
All right.
You know, maybe sometimes. Right now, though, how many other players do you think are 10-year players for the Royals?
I mean,
Besides Bobby. Vinny's in a contract for 5 years. Again, I would pay Vinny, but like he's in a contract for 4 years probably. I think before his contract runs out. Are there any other 10-year guys? Nobody in the pitching staff right now. They don't have Tarek Skubal, who's probably going to end up a Dodger anyway. Or a Met.
Please, I would take him going to the Yankees over the Dodgers. Can you just get somebody else to go somewhere else? I guess other than the Yankees too. Padres.
That's the
Please.
trash of the day. You can go smell animal butts in Japan.
In Japan.
I have, guess what? Good news, Drew, because we got a few minutes before Harold Kuntz is going to come and join us here for a fan club. I have a bonus random question. You don't have to play the sound, but for you, Drew, and I have the answer to this, and over on the text line, 913-586-7965. Somebody over on the text line, or over on Twitch, Agent, asked, how much do you think a matchmaker costs? Because this would be a question for Alex, who's currently single, actively vacationing in the Bahamas, so we know he's available. How much do you think a matchmaker costs to hire for a woman in Dallas? He said he had a friend who was quoted, curious to see what everyone thinks it cost. He then gave me the number it cost. I'm looking for an annual number of what you think it costs to get a matchmaker in Dallas, and then I will tell you the actual number. What do you think?
For a year, you're saying? Or for just one, like you find a match?
Well, I don't know. It's just a matchmaker.
Okay.
Presumably, they'll spend a lot of time trying to find the right person for you.
For an annual cost, $1,500.
For the annual?
Yeah, that might sound way
Text
too
line,
high.
what are your guesses before I give the answer? 913.
That might be way too high.
586-7965. I want to know what everyone thinks it costs. Man, I guess.
A match? I would never pay.
I don't think I'd ever pay a matchmaker.
A matchmaker, no.
I'm just going to be either single or I'm going to take the worst kind of luck with the app or, you know, and look, I haven't been single in a million years and I don't have any intent to be. So but I have a hard time imagining I would spend hard-earned cash on a match. Maybe if I was a multi-millionaire and I didn't want someone to marry me just for my money, maybe. But in that case, wouldn't it be better just meet them out on the streets?
Yeah, no, it's better.
Better chance to just like find them in the wild.
It's better for you to collectively spend, let's say it is $1,000 and it takes you that long. I don't know.
Text line says from the 913, $15,000 in Dallas, $10,000 in Dallas, $1,000 is a guess.
That's
Somebody's
a lot of money,
only
man.
$15 a month for Tinder Premium. I don't even know what that buys you. What does the premium version buy you than the others? The correct answer, by the way, from Agent over on Twitch is $35,000.
No way, dude.
For
That's
a year.
Dumb. That's
I
dumb.
mean, how
dumb.
rich are you? $35,000 is what they were quoted.
You would be better. I know. Let's say the number is 1,000 instead. I think you would have maybe a better success rate, or it'd be more worth your money to just buy $1,000 worth of drinks over time at a bar and hopefully hit on somebody.
Yes.
Over that time, and you can do it yourself. It's not letting somebody else make a decision or help you. I feel like a relationship is something that you should not go to somebody else for, particularly paying somebody.
Text line, a couple of people had it right. Someone says, I bet it's something stupid like 40, but 35.
That's close, man.
$35,000.
That's unbelievable.
I mean, I guess for me, Drew, it's like I'm thinking about how, like, let's just say you could, like, we gave Alex 35. We were going to play matchmaker, and someone gave us $35,000 to find Alex a wife this year. I mean, I think I'd get close. Or if we just gave him $35,000, we're like, hey, man, you have to spend this $35,000 trying to find, a serious relationship this year. Rather than hire a matchmaker, and I just said, you can go on the apps, you can go to restaurants, you can go on dates, do whatever. But by the end of the year, this is a Brewster's Million situation. You got to spend this money. I think the odds of him finding someone he likes for that $35,000 are significantly higher than some random matchmaker finding it.
I agree because this is the thing. Are we talking matchmaker to like get into a serious relationship?
I mean, if you're hiring a matchmaker, I don't think you're just looking for a hookup.
I agree. Or I mean, are we talking like spouse material, or are we talking? Because I do think there's a level of, hey, here's $35,000. You could do some stuff with $35,000 to make a lot of people become your significant. Oh, you're running around with that kind of cash? Sure, I'll do that. And then when it runs out, it's a problem. But I do think.
I'm just saying, if you like,
yes,
on the apps, going on date every single night. Nice dates, nice places, nice people. You're going out to bars or clubs and looking for people, right? If you just spent 7 days a week, $35,000?
No,
it would take so long.
That's a ridiculous level of money. I do think this is correct. From the 785, paying a matchmaker is the equivalent of telling everyone you don't have Riz or game, you have no aura points. I totally agree with that. If you would never be able to openly, and listen, in terms of your friend group or even in my family, if I were to tell my brother, say, hey, I hired a matchmaker to find somebody for me, you would get made fun of like none other. Like, excuse me? You would be the butt of every single joke because you took in $35,000 worth.
DJ over on Twitch said I'd sniff every animal butt at the zoo before paying that much.
If you gave me a choice between that or paying a matchmaker that much, I would also do the animals.
I gotta say, I think sometimes we're in the wrong career. All I gotta do is find two people to hire Cody and Gold matchmaking service. I'll make $70,000. I'll help you find a wife. I'll spend a lot of time on her husband. I'll spend a lot of time. Drew, we'll spend a lot of time looking for that person's significant other.
That also is the other thing. What do you think?
I'll interview your friend groups. I'll look for people in your workspace. I'll look for people on the apps for you. I'll find someone for you for $35,000.
I was going to say, what exactly is the process of this matchmaker? Like, okay, what makes it worth $35,000 to hire this person? Like what? Do you give them do you meet with them and sit down with them and explain the type of person that you are and then go into what your interests are and all those other things? Like, I feel like there is, because you can spend all of this money and I don't know if you get any trial runs, like, hey, you try a date and it doesn't work out, then you go on to the next one, or if it is a one shot, I got a year to find you one person and I'm dedicating all my resources to one person, because if it doesn't work, then what happens after that?
It's crazy, man.
You're relying on somebody else rather than your own feelings to find somebody. Like, I don't know. Because everything, a lot of, this stuff is a vibe. Like, it's a dating thing. Like, you might not even like the person originally right away, but you might be cool with each other, and then all of a sudden, things progress over the course of time. Whatever the case is.
I think we should just, out of a service to prove that we're good matchmakers, find one single person on the text line, Twitch, or YouTube, and then try to get them set up with somebody, Tell me your interest. Give me a breakdown. Send me an email. And give me a breakdown of your interest, which part of the city you live in, and give me like 5 things you find really attractive in somebody that are not looks, although I would like some looks comparisons too, and 5 things that are an absolute no, like if you just won't date a smoker. Like give me the 5. And then that way we can find someone for you, We don't need the $35,000.
These people are obviously very rich. Yeah,
yeah, I'd say so.
$35,000.
When we come back, we'll talk some more Chiefs, Royals, whatever. KC Current, who have a playoff game this weekend with Harold Kuntz. He'll join us in the fan club next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Another summer has ended, and you may have noticed that your energy is lower, your workouts aren't as productive, perhaps you aren't sleeping as well and feel foggy all the time, maybe even your sex drive is off. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you're experiencing some or all of these symptoms, it's likely you have low testosterone. And if that's what's going on with you, don't wait. You need to call us at Heartland Men's Health and get treated for your low T, because living with low testosterone is no way to live. With our low T treatments, if you're like most guys, your life will change considerably. Improved sleep, better energy, greater gains in the gym, better mental clarity, and your sex drive will likely improve as well. Plus, most men see these results in just a few weeks. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
All right, you guys are doing great things for the community. Not that you don't always do great things for the community, but Hy-Vee is really stepping up this week. What do you guys have going on?
This week, we are providing $3 hot meals to everybody, but on top of that, kids eat free. So adults, $3, kids eat free, 12 and under, and we're going to have a variety of meals Monday through Friday from 4 to 7. So these hot meals are just another way for us to look at our community and say, hey, we're here to help no matter what. Kids eat free. No kid in Kansas City should ever go hungry. That's our biggest push right now with Hy-Vee, and us providing these options is just absolutely incredible. But it's what Hy-Vee does. We step up when we can, and it's exactly what we're doing, why I love working for them.
And you know, people always talk about this time of the year, it's the holidays or the food bank, the food pantry. You're doing it well in advance of the holidays, which I think is a good thing to keep reminding people. People are hungry all year long. It's not in November and December.
Yes, right now, you know, the economy and just uncertain times, it's tough right now. And so, again, going into the holidays, you know that we're going to be able to help in any way, shape, or form at Hy-Vee, and exactly what we're doing this week by showing that example.
You guys are the best.
Thank you.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
BetMGM is coming soon to Missouri. On November 17th, sports fans in Missouri can pre-register and get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if their first bet loses. Plus, an additional $100 in bonus bets if they deposit before December 1st. Enjoy a betting app that was designed for game day, with features like live bets, same-game parlays, BetMGM reward points, and surprise boosts dropping in your account all throughout the season. It's everything a sports fan could want in one app. Pre-registration is coming soon to Missouri on November 17th. BetMGM, make it legendary. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements and minimum deposit of $10. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Pending BetMGM's licensure as a mobile sports wagering operator with the Missouri Gambling Commission register for a Missouri online sports wagering account 1117. BetMGM's insurance of welcome offer is conditional on full license.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done with precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
Or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at TheFan965 for behind-the-scenes videos like MVP Monday, Chiefs Take Tuesday, and Best Bets. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ, FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. Welcome into the Fan Club.
Step 1, we buy into this club. Step 2, we roll over to the club, either in your Mercedes-Benz or my pre-owned Acura Legend.
It's not as much as a club as it is a couple middle-aged dudes in sweatshirts talking about sports.
Bounce, 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 bounce. Now all the ladies saying bounce, 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 bounce.
But you get the gist. Here's Cody Tapp and Alex Gold.
Alex is out this week. Cody Tapp's still here for a Fan Club. Drew's got his cocktail over there. We're drinking Rye Manhattans today because Fan Club Friday, of course, is brought to you by J. Rieger and Company. This time, rye straight whiskey, sweet vermouth, dry curacao, bitters, garnished with a cherry. Little Rye Manhattan on a Friday feels classy. Look, I put them in my fancy at-home glasses.
I like it. Got cherry in it. It's very
put a little cherry in there in case you finish a cocktail.
Classy Cody
Feels like we should have
Tapp.
dressed a little fancier, but other than that.
Classy Cody Professor Tapp.
I'm in a 15-year-old sweater.
Yeah.
Although, man, I got to say, you defended me in saying that I'm a real teacher because you also teach.
Yeah.
He teaches at Avila, just so you know, Drew.
Yeah.
Miss Dugan buried me.
Who?
She came on.
Oh,
She's
let me
a
find the cut.
social media influencer.
Okay.
She is a full-time high school teacher.
So that means their opinion is like as low to relevant as possible.
No, but she's very funny. She did a great job on Fan Club, and they asked if they thought I was a real teacher, and she said I was not. Yeah. She said I don't have the bags under my eyes from teaching the way she does. I said I don't know, man. They give me
she's
some
high
bags
school
sometimes.
though.
High school.
Now she's a middle school teacher.
She was middle school.
Okay, that's respect.
And she went up. She was middle school.
I taught
for
middle
years.
school. I mean, I was a full-time sub at a school for like a year in a middle school, and man,
Tough?
head middle school in Nashville, man. Whoa.
She had
that was rough. And I was at the No Child Left Behind schools too. So like back in Tennessee, the No Child Left Behind, you got like $40 extra to pay there because there would be suffering. Like the kids were like, you're getting the top of the top. Like this is not going to go well for you. Prayers and thoughts and prayers before you enter. Like it's like entering the battlefield each day.
I just feel like it's the worst time of anyone's life. So why would I want to be involved in it? It's just like a terrible time to exist.
I remember there was
being in middle school.
When I was in Oklahoma, there was a guy who wrote he was a beat writer for the Thunder, Royce Young, I think his name is. And he said, like, I chaperone my kids to high school, and he said, whatever teachers are getting paid, they should be paid 1 million times more than what, oh my God, they should be the highest paid workers in America.
I feel that way.
And I've absolutely felt that way.
I will, like, maybe twice a year, I'll go have lunch with my kids.
Yeah.
At elementary school.
Mm.
You know, you sit at the lunch, you bring them a little Happy Meal, and they're all excited.
Yeah.
Just the volume in that room alone. Whatever the lunch workers
Yeah.
are being paid, it's way
It's
under
brutal.
what
Yeah.
they deserve.
Yeah.
They're like out here opening milk for kids, keeping them from putting ketchup
Like,
all over their sleeve. They're just yelling and singing.
I don't know.
It's an
I don't know
assault.
what we can do as a society, like through votes or bills or whatever, to make sure teachers get paid more. But like when they tell you with a straight face, I would like to get paid more, that means what I do is like an indefinite amount of money that is needed for this job, and I'm a little short here, but like it's an infinite amount of money that they need for that job. It's insane doing middle school.
Do teachers still have to pay for their own like school supplies and
Yeah,
stuff?
what
Is
do you-
that still
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you still have to do all that.
I was gonna
Like,
say yeah.
Hell
that's-
yeah.
Yeah. Now, I mean,
Crazy.
someday now it's not nearly as bad. Like some of them bring their computers now, so like the parents will pay for the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna go to Best Buy and buy like a bunch of cheap computers, like, but still, like, I mean, I could imagine back in the day you had to get the pencils, the pads,
chalk,
you know, or you had dry erase boards, like all that's good stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like middle school teachers. If you're listening out there, you have like one of the toughest jobs in America that doesn't get enough respect.
Harold and I absolutely respect teachers as two teachers.
Yeah.
We respect
as
it. How many kids do you have?
professions in our craft.
Yeah. How many kids do you have in your
There you
class? You teach the one class,
Yeah,
right?
I got
I
one,
upped to
22,
2, which
yeah.
is
I told you about that.
it's wearing on me.
I told you about that.
It is it's
Yeah.
twice as much work, all right.
I might do you next. I might do pull 2. I don't know. Well, no, it's because I know one class has 4. It's like a specialized class, so I have like 4. So I'm like, I could do 2.
You could handle like a
I
small
might.
group.
If you give me like a small group and then the one general class, I
They send me those emails, Drew, and I get an email to be like, all right, you can now publish this on Canvas if you're ready to let it be public. I'm like, I haven't even worked on the syllabus yet. No, I'll get to that in just a minute. But it'll tell you how many kids are in the class right now. One of my classes, not very many so far. It's like 4 kids or something. Now, that's not uncommon for November.
Exactly.
The semester doesn't start for 2 months.
Yeah.
The other one already has 16 kids in it. I'm like, ah.
Is that the radio?
That's the podcast class.
Oh, yeah. That's what they want.
They want to be able to edit.
I've kind of had to now revert to something where I include like the podcasting now in it because so many kids, that's all they see now.
The performance
Yeah,
end?
I mean, and I mean this with the utmost respect to my own business, but like we're old and antiquated to them.
I'm still making them on teleprompters if it makes you feel better.
Thank you.
We sat in front of
Appreciate it.
teleprompters for 2 full classes, and then we had to do stand-ups.
I have to teach them what like networks are. Still, like it's like ABC, NBC, Fox, CBS. Like I'm like, hey, buddy, that's free television. Like you just buy a TV wherever. I could get a TV at a Family Dollar right now,
And I can watch
plug it in, I can
ABC,
watch
NBC,
ABC, Fox. Yeah.
Oh man.
I still have to because they're not used to that. So,
Drew, you want to teach?
Yeah.
You want to be the third member of this crew?
Come on over, man.
I have a lot of respect for you guys, but I will not.
The moment I heard I have a lot of respect.
I know.
I have a lot of appreciation and respect for teachers.
You know what
but
that reminds me of?
I will pass.
That reminds me of like when Andy Reid will say like, I have a lot of respect for a team, and you're like, I'm looking at the record. But
So
I'm looking
we'll
at the
talk
record,
some
yeah.
Chiefs Broncos here and Chiefs here in just a second.
By the way, if you watched last night's game, you may be entitled to financial compensation.
I mean, awful. Genuinely awful. So we'll talk about that here in just like 1 minute. I was going to ask you one more thing about your class.
Yeah.
Am I doing this wrong, or are you as brutally honest with your kids as I am when we sit in class and do this stuff?
I'm honest.
Okay, so I'll sit there and I'll be like, are you being held hostage? Did somebody, like what's happened? Like when the way people don't think about how they move or speak or operate with their body. And then you tell them to like, just keep your shoulders back.
Yeah.
Not up in your neck, back a little bit.
You don't have to like break your spine.
Move like a person and not a robot, and you'd be fine. Yeah. And that is a tough ask.
Oh, but the thing is, I always told them like, how do you act in class? Loose, comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you do that in front of like all of a sudden like you see a lens, you're like, hey, like don't do that. Come on, man.
Tough. All right, let's talk a little Broncos first. Chiefs Broncos too. It's the same.
Yeah.
Since the Broncos are through their game, they're up. Yep. I do not respect them anymore. I am done thinking that they're a challenge for the Chiefs as an individual team.
I do not like
that game. That game was so bad. I'm like, that's a team I'm supposed to fear. They can tell me what. If you had told me their record was 8-2, I'd have thought you were insane.
I watched
if you had told me that and I just watched them in that one football game. But the same as against the Jets and everything else.
I watched 3 post games. I watched like the ESPN, the NFL Network. I watched like the Broncos themselves. I was just like, am I wrong in thinking this was just a putrid performance that like should have been thrown into the dumpster a long time ago? I was like, maybe it's something with preparation because it's a short week. Maybe they didn't have things right. I listened to Sean Payton's entire press conference, and I don't know if this
he
is.
He said he was using the wrong third down sheet.
That's what threw me off. That's the part that threw me off. He's like, he's using the wrong third down sheet. I'm like,
is this a weird excuse or a real excuse?
Like, are you okay? Do you need the glasses back on? Like
your coaches were afraid to speak up to you about using the wrong third down sheet?
And then like all the pauses he took, he was like basically trying to put it in the best light possible. It's like, this looks bad, man. I mean, like
there's no way to
I don't know if this is like a breaking point and like 10 days later to look like they did against Dallas's defense and put up 44, but
Dallas' defense is awful. Although, in fairness, the Raiders' defense is awful. It certainly didn't look that way last night.
Yeah, well, he's like, they threw a lot of things at us that was different. These division games. I'm like, a lot of people throw things different at you. Like, that should be, like, division game or not, they should throw things differently at you because, we're playing a really good team right now. We better start thinking of some things up. So, you're 8-2. Your record is what you are. So, if I'm
I
a
think
team
they
like
looked ahead some.
They may have. But if I'm a team like the Chiefs, I'm just like, I'm looking at a team like, hey, they're 8-2. We're trying to catch you. Yeah, we're gonna start, breaking out some of the breaking case of emergencies type stuff because that's in terms of trying to win the division. That's where they are
and
right now.
Look, and the Chiefs can immediately. That's what's nice about their spot.
Yeah.
The records look really bad. Like, oh God, how are they going to make legitimately just beat the Broncos and you've made up the division. It's done.
Exactly.
Like there's no there's no extra work to do. If you simply just beat the Broncos twice, you are now tied.
Yeah.
In the division. And so
Precisely.
I do think Andy, and look, I didn't like Sean Payton's game plan this last game. I didn't like Andy's against the Bills. They put themselves in a lot of
Bills did a lot of good things
disadvantageous.
defense.
Yeah, they
Bills
did.
did a lot of good things
And they threw the Chiefs off and they put them in some spots. They made them uncomfortable and they got pressured. And then Mahomes panicked a little in the pocket a couple of times. And, things didn't go well. But I didn't like the plan, but it wasn't Sean Payton's last night.
That wasn't bad. Now I will give pause because of this. Like, I believe the Bills defense, and to an extent, definitely the Broncos defense, they have personnel that's specifically game planned for the Chiefs. Like
Yes.
the Bills
built their entire roster.
Maxwell Hairston is like, okay, we have to face Xavier Worthy. Joey Bosa is like, oh, we have to.
We're gonna go against Juwan Taylor. Okay, great.
We know we're going to go up against a weaker tackle. That's going to be the Broncos. Like, they're going to put Zach Allen out there. It's like, all right, we need somebody to go up against an all-pro center. We need Patrick Surtain. That's Denver. So, obviously, I think it's going to be lower scoring. But if I'm the Chiefs, I'm going to that game thinking we get 20. We probably win that game.
Yes.
Easy.
I mean, the way any
20.
Broncos game is going right now, it definitely feels that way. And I like this is one of those, this is a really truth-telling game. Because twice I thought this year the Chiefs were backs against the wall, against the wall. It was Ravens-Lions. They won both those games. Those are the two games where I'm like, you better win.
Yeah.
This is the third.
This is them. Mm-hmm.
So now they keep putting their backs against the wall.
Yep.
They get a little bit of breathing room, and then they get themselves in trouble. But if this team, this is the end of the excuses after this one if they don't win. Because everything in this favors.
Then you kind of are who you are at that point. Yeah.
Their historic record against the AFC West. Yeah. What they historically are after a bye, what they are, quarterback versus quarterback, what everything favors that Kansas City wins this football game under any other year, in any other time under Andy Reid, especially because they're desperate and need the win. So, if they lose this one, then I'm with everybody. They just are who they are. I'll apologize, I guess, to Broncos fans for mocking them last night for that game, although I'm mad that it was on television.
Themselves, but yeah.
I just, you know what it is? It's just, I'm not a believer in Bo Nix. And that makes it always really hard.
What makes it worse? That was Sean Payton's personal. That was his hand-picked guy.
He just thought he
You'd think there'd be some improvement with a hand-picked guy. Yeah, it's not coming. It's not coming the way it should come out in the field for him. Yeah.
I judge year 3 more than I judge year 2 for quarterbacks. Sure. I think year 2's Bo Nix's happen a lot. I think it's all that,
we're seeing a lot of year 2s in the NFL.
Yeah. And it's kicking some
injury
ass.
related too, but yeah.
Sure, like Jaden Daniels, right? Although maybe he's fine. They said no ligament damage, and they're just going to evaluate him. They're not going to put him on the IR, and they're just going to evaluate him after the bye.
Yeah, it looked nasty.
It was gross.
Awful.
Drew said he didn't see it somehow. I wasn't even watching the game live. You just scroll at one social media site and you couldn't avoid it.
I scroll past it. As soon as I saw Jaden, I heard about it and I made sure to avoid it.
Oh, yeah. Once you watch the reverse angle, you're like, ooh, not good.
It's facing the wrong way.
That arms are not supposed to bend like that.
I don't know. I feel like, and this is we had a lot of texters here a little this is what we said about the Chiefs. They're winning a bunch of ugly games against bad teams. And we talked about it we shouldn't criticize them. And I can't help but point out, do you not understand that one team is the Chiefs and one is Patrick Mahomes, 3-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time MVP, 3-time Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes, and one is Bo Nix. So if two teams win close against bad teams, they're not equal.
No.
They're not the same.
No.
They are different because of the person who is at quarterback. And that's
to be fair though, it is a week. Like I said, I'm trying to find it's a week-to-week league maybe. Again, the short week.
Broncos have looked really good in some games. Sure.
And they have they're the ones that went to Philadelphia and won. So, there's some credit there. They've done they're 8-2 for a reason. That means they've done things that in winning time, what are they, 5-2, I believe, in one-score games?
Chiefs are 0-4.
Oh, Chiefs are 0-4. So, winning time right now, they're understanding, and a team like the Chiefs right now is not. It's just how it works right now.
I will give them credit. That's the thing I'd give them the most credit for. They've been good in the most pivotal
fourth quarters. They've won fourth quarters. They've won 4 quarters. So it's the Giants game. Granted, that was an anomaly, like NFL anomaly, with scoring 33 in the fourth quarter, but they did it. So you're just sitting here like, I don't know, like you'll watch the game, you'll feel pretty comfortable with the Chiefs stay up like 20-7 going into the fourth quarter. And then like the hope is you're not leaving there being like, how did they just lose 24-23? How did that just happen?
Yeah, I think it's more than fair.
So, don't turn the ball over. Don't have critical turnovers at bad times. Like, because the last time they played in Denver and lost, we had one guy to blame, pretty clearly. Don't be that one guy to blame. So, the trip to Denver, it's an important game, like you said. I mean, they've run out of excuses if they lose this one.
I do see you're in your KC Current shirt.
Yeah.
Are you covering the game on Sunday?
I'll be there.
Quarterfinals? Are you there as a fan or as a member of the working media?
Hybrid.
Mix?
Hybrid.
That's fair.
Honestly,
hybrid's acceptable.
To be fair, and I hate to say this out loud, but I will. Like, when I do go to, like, soccer matches, it's kind of like a half and half because, like, I'll end up seeing somebody I know there or something. Well, I'll take a time to stop by and talk for, like, 5 minutes. So, I think my wife might be going. So, like, yeah. I mean, like, yeah, I'll hang out.
I'm excited.
But I'm going to go, yeah.
And it's not that it's understood.
But I will be also in a working capacity, like, post game, pre game.
Yeah,
we're there. Yeah,
they are the most dominant team in NWSL history, and I want to see if they're going to complete the most dominant season in NWSL history. That's it. That's what it is for me.
They built such a strong roster, and they're going against like what the league like. There's a lot of players going to Europe right now, but like they can retain their talent because
I give them a lot of credit. They just paid
cares.
Labonta again. The ownership wants to spend money
a lot. Like I can't say enough good things about the Longs and how they care about that organization. Like they're building new facilities in their Riverside complex. Like
the amphitheater looks
cool. The amphitheater looks great. They're amplifying the entire game of women's soccer. They're basically telling every other organization how to do it. The only ones that are going to match them maybe are the like expansion franchises that come because they've seen the standard.
I got to, by the way, if you guys want, you can go to 965thefan.com. We're giving away 10, I think it is. 10 was Shawinga bobbleheads from the game last Sunday.
Got one of those. Yeah.
Presented by H&R Block, celebrating 70 years of expertise with hometown roots in the soccer capital of America. Head on over there. You can register to win. Opportunity to win. Very cool, obviously. And a hot item. They're going for a couple $100 on eBay. Heis was in here earlier. Yeah. He works for H&R Block. They're going for like $200 over on eBay or Facebook Marketplace and stuff.
I forgot how much of a profitable franchise that was. Like, just getting things for free and selling them. I was like,
was that a thing for you for a while?
No, it wasn't.
Making some cash?
I could never do it. I was no, that's unethical. I'm not going to do that. But then, people that don't do my job or your job, they're definitely do it. Yeah,
I put the Shawinga bobblehead up on the mantle, sitting right next to Talking Rusty Kuntz and Vinnie Pasquantino's a bobblehead. Those are the other two ones I've been given somewhere along the way.
So you're taking care of my third cousin over there?
Yeah. Right. And in fairness, the Rusty Kuntz one, my kids broke the leg on it, super glued back. It's not like, but I liked the Talking Rusty Kuntz bobblehead,
Why are you trying to beat on my family member, man?
I'm not trying to.
Come on, man.
Rusty's one of the nicest dudes on the planet. Wow, they ripped up the Shawinga box, too.
What are they doing?
They're just, kids are animals, man. I don't know what to tell you. They're just, they just live in this world. And I think my daughter in particular lives in and I appreciate her for this.
Yeah.
But she is already a free spirit in the sense that she just lives in this world that seems colored by her interest and what drives her in any given moment. She lives more free than I could ever dream of, man.
That's cool.
My son's a little more probably like me.
There
right?
you go.
Takes
they're like one takes on the characteristics of one parent usually.
Yeah. What's funny is I've gotten more serious over time. I was probably more like my daughter when I was a kid.
Gotcha.
And then adulthood just beat you up long enough that, you got to take stuff more serious. Yeah. Although, how serious do I take my life? I've done a song about Wings and Waldo to Flo Rida. So, I'm probably less of a serious person than most.
Does Vinnie like that song, to Pasquantino?
I think he does.
Okay.
I don't think he'll ever let me make it his
You talk to him weekly, so
I do, and I guess I
you
can
should be able to
text
get
him.
a legitimate answer. Yeah,
I could text him. He was he came on the show earlier today. If you missed it, it's up on the podcast page. But he has admitted to liking it, but I haven't asked him in a while. I don't know if he's
not like
I don't think he's jamming to it in the car. No, that seems incredibly unlikely.
Yeah,
I don't want to say for sure.
Yeah,
but I do think that's at least. I think he at least enjoyed it at the time and admitted
he has listened to the whole thing beginning to end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he has. He denied it at first. he got up to the big leagues, he didn't want to come off as like too big time. He eventually admitted later that he had heard it and was familiar with it, and then we had to do it.
He's like the athlete that always says like, no, I don't see anything, and then they see that.
Yeah, was it you that asked? Somebody eventually did me the favor and asked Creed Humphrey when we did his song if he had heard it.
Okay, it wasn't me, but
somebody did me the song. And when he admitted having heard it, I thought, okay.
He thought it was, now, I mean, the thing is, you got to pump the volume up on that thing when Thanksgiving week if you're here because Chiefs Cowboys.
Yeah,
that's Creed.
You're right. I got
the Cowboys.
I got to pump that video back out.
You got to pump it back out.
Right.
We got to
around
remaster it.
Thanksgiving
Remix.
time.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. Get in the real recording studio. Knock this thing out. Do you know how much? This is what's so stupid. Job. Do you know how much that cost us to make?
Oh man. Let's see. What are licensing and right fees? Yes or no?
No. Didn't have to pay for those.
Oh, okay.
Covered under parity. Yeah, it's fine. I think. That was before we were an above board show.
Yeah, this is crazy. That's I mean, do you want me to throw out a number?
Yeah, throw out a number.
$100.
5,000.
The whole video?
Yeah.
No.
That video shoot cost us.
Because you're up with a talker, right? If I remember correctly.
Field didn't cost us anything.
Oh,
we had a
that's
stage.
What I was thinking. Yeah, like
we had a stage.
Okay.
And fireworks.
All right.
And a professional videographer.
Well, then that
guy, he did it on the cheap, I think, for us. For like $1,500. He was practically a steal.
Well, when you got a professional video.
We had to rent out the zipline park so we could just get that one shot of Gold coming down with the
What was the conversation with the uppers like after that one?
You know what? I think at the time we were doing it so below board.
Okay.
I don't think they realized what the cost over, and of course they weren't funding it. This was an entirely grassroots campaign brought to you by heroes
Did
over.
you start GoFundMe or something?
No, we had.
Okay.
So if anybody wants the legit backstory, here's what happened.
All right.
We said we were doing Creed is Good. It was gaining some steam. People wanted to support Creed Humphrey for Rookie of the Year. Like, great. That makes a lot of sense. We want to do it. We're pushing it. We had asked ourselves on a Thanksgiving week, how can we push this to the next level? What is the next stage of this? I found out Scott Stapp was on Cameo. I thought, okay, perfect. $300. I was like, man, $300. And so I had said on the air, it was like $6.10 divided by $300. I said, if you guys will give me the $300 to get Scott Stapp to talk about Creed is Good, I will make a music video. Thinking I would make it in the backyard.
Okay.
Like that.
Yeah.
People were more generous than that. And at some point we had taken in too much money. And we're like, uh-oh. And then a law firm's like, I'll give you more. And then we had thousands of dollars.
You got the law firm.
And a huge budget. And we were like, well, now we can't do it.
You got the Edelman and Thompsons in the world.
I was like, it can't look bad now. We got to go all the way in. So, I bought like a really nice wig and we had to order the Creed jersey.
Didn't you?
We had props and
you had the lawyer
materials.
Money. You lawyered up.
So it cost real cash.
You're starting to look like our advertisements on our air sometimes. It's like legal. After a while, I'm just be like, the World Cup's going to come, and I'm fully expected to hear Abogados. I'm like, yep, yep, we got them all now.
World Cup's on Fox, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, you guys are in a great spot.
Well,
Well, that's not. That's
you got to. You're
gonna have to stay up late on some of those.
Play it. You got to play it perfectly. Yeah. You got to execute.
Yeah.
We're in the driver's seat. You just got to execute.
Got to still finish. You can't just. Yeah. It's not just the schedule. You got to actually play the game.
Yeah. You got to still execute. Yeah.
Great spot.
Yeah. Great spot.
You still got to finish the thing off. Makes a lot of sense. Harold Coons, he's in here for a Fan Club Friday. We're drinking Rye Manhattans, thanks to our friends over at J. Rieger Company. We'll talk a little more Chiefs. I'll bring up a Royals name that got brought up by John Heyman as well. Plus, we'll just have a little bit of fun and relax. We'll do that next here on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Creed Humphrey. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
You want to be sitting outside on your dream deck? Wait no longer. Hit up All Weather Decks at allweatherdecks.net. Schedule a free estimate at 913-206-1974. Look, maybe you're looking forward to spring a little bit. Starting to get colder this weekend. You're not sure what it's going to look like, and you want to have that project ready before you start spending time outside all spring, all summer. You can get a jump start on that project at All Weather Decks, who's Kansas City's most respected deck builder and a 24-time winner of Angie's List Super Service Award. That's not the only awards they've won. You can check out a list of them on their website if you're looking for a reason to trust a locally owned and operated company who's been doing decks in Kansas City for 15 years. You want to see for yourself the kind of projects or work that they can do? You can see project pictures over on their website, maps of all over the areas they've done in town, wood decks, composite decks, big outdoor kitchens, patios, and pergolas, and so much more. It's even fire pit season. If you're thinking, you know what, actually, I'm not waiting until spring. I'm getting this project done now. So if you have a dream outdoor project, All Weather Decks is ready to build you the right deck at the right price. Again, schedule that free estimate today at 913-206-1974 or online at allweatherdecks.net.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Legendary doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's what BetMGM does. Sign up for BetMGM and check out all the exciting new ways you can boost your bets all weekend long. Amplify your winnings with Special Boost. Build a same-game parlay. Enjoy live betting and more. If you're a fan of pro or college football, you can take advantage of special promos like a second chance on a first touchdown bet. Plus, keep an eye out for rewards dropping in your account all throughout the season. Ready to give your weekend a boost? Never settle for ordinary. Sign up today for BetMGM and make it legendary.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Hey, Zach. Are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbors' attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet. And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
Okay, I have to tell you. I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than just Peyton Manning. I'm also motivating Manning. When I say insurance, you say financial services. Insurance.
Financial services.
Insurance.
Financial services.
Now when I say nationwide, you say is both. Nationwide.
Is both.
Nationwide.
Is both.
For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with AutoPay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You need parts? O'Reilly has parts. Get 1 free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select pads for just $10. Or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
J. Rieger & Co. Oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City. J. Rieger & Co. Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Winner of Best Craft Bourbon at the 2025 Ascot Awards. At 90 proof, it's rich, well-balanced, and oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Back here on Cody and Gold, final half hour of the week. Fan Club Friday, brought to you by J. Rieger & Company. Drinking Rye Manhattans today. You can check out the recipe up on Instagram.
Like 3/4 done here.
Yeah. Oh, man, I like it good. The only problem is that I run into a mixed bag. We drink these like cocktails at Fan Club.
Yeah.
And if I don't, like if I just stop there, I feel like I get a little sleepy.
Yeah.
Versus like, feels like I just want to make a second cocktail.
You're driving home because I know your trip. Like,
yeah.
Because we're around the
we're
same
going.
area.
So it's like when I get home, I want to like make one more.
You want to
keep it going rather than keep it going rather than like lose steam. You know,
like end of the week.
Because I don't drink during the week hardly ever.
End of the
it's
week,
pretty rare for me.
Take a quick nap. Are the kids still in school by the time you get back home?
Yeah, yeah. They get off the bus at like 4 o'clock.
So you got like
an hour
and a half. A good sweet spot for a nice little nightcap and a little nap.
Yeah, perfect. And like we don't have any tonight's pretty open for us.
Perfect.
Tomorrow we got a kid's birthday party and my kids have tennis.
Is it movie night tonight?
I think so. We're making made dough for cast iron pizza. So
interesting.
That'll be dinner this evening.
Cast iron pizza.
Yeah. I mean, I really like Detroit style pizza.
Okay.
So it kind of creates that same like crust. You ever do you like Detroit style pizza? Yeah. Okay. Chicago style pizza is the most overrated. I like most pizzas. Yeah. But I like Chicago style pizza maybe the least.
It's funny because you say it because like we had that old Chicago down the street. I liked their pizza.
Oh, okay.
But Marcia's like, I'm gonna get the wings.
Like, all right. You can get different stuff. Yeah. So no, nothing major. You got big plans other than the Kern on Sunday?
Well, our producer's getting married this weekend. Robert Rimson.
Robert Rimson's getting hitched?
Getting hitched, man.
Where at? Where's the? Oh, don't tell me the wedding. I guess maybe he doesn't want people going there. Is it in town?
It's in town.
Okay.
It's in the Kansas City metro. Yes.
My invitation got lost in the mail.
Did you see Sean Barber? Robert? He said, "Can't believe I just watched this for the first time."
Well, he's in it. He is on the guitar.
Why did he not?
How did he not watch the thing? I mean, spent so much time watching it.
We should both text Sean.
Barber did an excellent job in it, for what it's worth.
I'm sure he did, yeah.
But he played the guy who's just randomly playing a guitar or whatever it is. You know, Creed got together right after that. It's hard to imagine that it didn't have some kind of influence based on this video. Drew is right after that. They got the band back together, you know?
Well, Creed performed here, right? And Creed Humphrey was actually,
Yeah,
I mean,
he did the
that
stage
had to
announcement
happen.
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, we were, the second I saw that, I'm like, is he going to do that? And it was a 98.9 The Rock concert. We're like, those things are going to happen, right?
So we had
to make the logical connection here.
Yeah.
He should absolutely come out for Creed.
Perfect.
He got 2 Rookie of the Year votes, man. It's not quite the mission we were accomplished.
It's because of you.
But you know what? We tried, Creed. We tried.
We got to figure out who the tour is, and then you make them a weekly guest on the show.
That's true. Yeah, we should find out.
Somebody who appreciates good center
Somebody
play.
who likes offensive line play and appreciates that rookie of the years aren't all just wide receivers or running backs. Or have to find out if it's a former offensive lineman. Feels likely. Earlier in the show, we predicted the NFL playoff field on the AFC side. If we did it today, if I made you right now, and you don't have to give all 7 in a row.
Sure.
Who would you have as the 1 seed? Who would you have winning the West? Who would you have winning the North? I think those are the 3 biggest questions. Other than that, I think we all generally kind of agree on who the playoff teams will be. It's really just a matter of Chiefs, Chargers, Jags, Steelers, I guess, for that final playoff spot, although I don't think the Chiefs are really going to be in question for that. But I'm just, I think that those are for that 7th seeded spot. I think those are the teams.
I'm going to throw a name at you that might shock you at first. I think that might be the 1 seed. But I think
Patriots?
Yeah.
Drew had them there. Their schedule is
because of the schedule. Yeah. It's simply because of the schedule. So I would not be surprised if they're a 1 seed.
You had them as the 1, didn't you, Drew?
I mean, they got the Bucs this week. Yep. Obviously a challenge.
But that's one of only 2 games that are hard left on the schedule.
Bills, but that's 2 out of 7. Like, they still got Bengals, they got Jets.
Jets twice, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, I might have the Dolphins thrown in there. I'm not sure. But, I just think because of the schedule, they might pull it off.
I had the Bills only because I thought the Chiefs one was a big enough swing.
The Bills go off on a run.
I thought it was a big enough swing for them to maybe get the division back, and then they'd have a chance at the 1 seed.
I don't think the Colts have the legs.
I just don't think they'll have the – I think they'll run out of gas.
Yeah,
I think they'll be a playoff team. I think they'll win their division. I just think they'll run out of gas for the 1 seed.
They still got, obviously, the Chiefs. They've still got a couple tough teams. I mean, the AFC West had the unfortunate of playing the NFC West.
Yeah.
AFC South had the unfortunate of playing the NFC West. So
and that's already kind of a mediocre division, so.
Yeah. I know, yeah. So, I mean, and they I don't think they've played the Jaguars so far this season. So,
Patriots have the Jets, Bengals, Giants for the 3 games after the Bucs.
All right. The Patriots?
The Patriots, that's what they have.
Yeah, exactly.
They have Jets, Bengals, Giants, Bills, Ravens, and Ravens at home. Lamar Jackson obviously is getting his back, so maybe a little more chance. Jets, Dolphins.
Exactly. That's my point. It just might they might get the 1 by default.
Yeah, and I think 13-4 probably gets the 1.
Yeah, I think 13-4 gets the 1.
So I pulled up, because you said Patriots, Harold, the Bills schedule: Dolphins, Bucks, Texans, Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, Browns, Eagles, Jets.
That's harder.
Yeah,
it's not hard.
It's harder.
It's more
It's
difficult.
harder.
Yeah.
I have them as the 1 seed. I had the Colts, Chiefs, and Ravens as the division winner.
You said that, and I immediately was like three dings in my head. I was like, those could be losses. So,
so I had the Bills as the 1 still.
No.
I have the Chiefs still winning the AFC West. I have the Ravens winning the AFC North. So I guess I have 2 underdogs coming back in the second half of the season, mostly because the Chiefs control their fate.
I think
they can just beat Denver and be the same.
If they win this game,
then I think they're winning the 1 at home.
Yeah, they win this game, then I think, they've got some good momentum that can carry them. I know the Colts have a bye going into the Chiefs game because they're playing internationally this weekend. Because Colts got the Falcons, I think, this weekend in Germany. So, I mean, that'll be interesting, but you never know who shows up in those Germany and the European games. You just really don't know because it's all about how you wake up, honestly. But,
those Thursday night, those European games. And last night, a little bit of that, but.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The Broncos don't have an excuse for putting a
Do you think the Ravens are winning the North, or do you think the Steelers are?
Let's put it this way. I was skeptical at first for the Steelers, but I watched them play the Colts.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, if they can do that, if they've figured out their defense.
2-game head start?
Yeah, if they've figured out their defense, then I'll give the Pittsburgh Steelers a leg up in that division.
I think that was
if they figured out their defense.
We talk about weird things.
And their defense was basically okay, we realize all these old guys that we got at cornerbacks are a little bit cooked, so let's just make it simple. And then, by the way, TJ Watt, just please do TJ Watt things.
I think
that was their defense.
I think this weekend's a big swing one for them because the Chargers on the road for both of them.
For both of them.
The Chargers have the Steelers.
We're forgetting about the Chargers in the AFC
The
West.
Chargers have the Steelers and the Jags in back-to-back games.
They have a hard schedule.
And the 2 games they played without either tackle, when Alt was out too, they were a different team.
Terrible.
They were a bad football team. And so I'm having a hard time. I kind of think they could miss the playoffs as a result of that. And weirdly enough, not because of the normal preseason, they're everyone's preseason champions, because if the Steelers had both their left and right tackle, if they had Alt and Slater, I think they'd be competing for the division. I take them as a real threat in the division.
I absolutely.
I think injuries actually got them this year, and then people might have actually been right on the Chargers for the first time that they were salty.
The way the Chiefs have played games, it's taken the other team essentially being perfect. Like Herbert in that first game in Brazil was darn near perfect. Josh Allen, only 3 incompletions. He was darn near perfect. And those still were one-possession games. So it's not like they're far off. It just requires a team to play essentially perfect football. Or in the case of Jacksonville, just give them the game, basically. Because, I mean, let's be honest, that's kind of what happened. So,
yes,
that's really what it takes. Like, the Chiefs are in a, like, have we given the game away to them fully, or has the opponent just tipped your cap? They've just played a perfect ball game. There's no real in between.
No.
I mean, you could say the Eagles was in between, but I mean, I think that was just two teams who just hadn't had it figured out yet playing each other.
Yeah, I think that was two teams who are usually
like,
better.
All right, who ends up winning that
sloppily
game?
playing against each other, trying to figure out who they were. And that was no Xavier Worthy, pre-Rashid Rice.
Exactly.
Like,
there was no real read on that game, to be honest.
That's the other part about the Chiefs that I feel like they're not
Of course,
being
the Eagles
given,
are sitting there in the NFC part of it, and they're
Yeah.
right in contention. So
they're probably not being given the requisite movement in that, where I got to say, like, I think that it's at least somewhat questionable that we get into this where, like, the Chiefs have only had their full offense for 3 games.
Yeah.
Are they supposed to have it all figured out yet?
No. I mean, eventually another team was going to come up with some sort of game plan. Buffalo did.
So
they had some sort of game plan. So, I mean, and people watch tape, copycat league, obviously. So, I mean, the Broncos would be doing themselves a disservice if they weren't trying to look at that Buffalo film and be like, they did this, they did that, they did this, this worked. Let's try that.
And the Bills, I'll give the Bills a ton of credit. Their game plan was so much better in Kansas City, and they kind of put it on them. The fact that Kansas City was even close in that game is...
And they ran the ball.
And they ran the ball well. Yeah. And James Cook is seemingly the only running back who can run against Kansas City because they're good in a lot of other areas. We talk about this all the time. They're in a weird self-scouting thing. They didn't add anybody. They're just praying their defensive line gets better. That's my biggest complaint about Kansas City.
Does a Denver team, like, I see their running game and I'm like, okay, Denver's obviously their best unit is, I see their defensive line.
Yeah.
I see Benito. I can't pronounce his name, Tapunga or whatever. But and then Allen, obviously. I see that defensive line. I'm like, okay, those guys are workers. And then obviously they got decent cornerbacks. But
no Surtain right now.
No Surtain, not right now.
The game interesting next week.
Yes, no Surtain right now. I'm just saying, I'm taking everybody at their A level.
Sure.
And I mean, I see them and I'm like, okay, that could do some damage, but defensively. So I'm very curious to see, especially if Josh Simmons is like not only back, we know he's back, but like back to like nothing happened. He's playing like he was at like what was nearly an all-pro level at left tackle, and everybody's aces and healthy. Juwan Taylor's healthy, what have you. Did that? I'd be like sitting at that like, oh, that's a good matchup, man. I'm going to be looking at some darn line. I'm going to be looking at some trenches in that game.
Do you think Simmons is going to play next week? I have no idea. It would just be a guess.
Know. I mean, I just want to start.
Historically, the Chiefs would say no.
Yeah, I just want to start with. Is he on the practice field on Wednesday?
Yep.
That's where I want to start with it.
Because we know we ask him Monday, he'll say, I just got in,
we know
I haven't seen Simmons yet, so we won't hear
around. Like, we know that. I just want to see, is he on the practice field Wednesday? And then is he on Thursday? And then we'll go from there.
I think there's a good question from the text line, from the 816. Does any team have an A game that can beat the Chiefs' A game? No. The answer is if the Chiefs play their best
A game versus A game,
they are better than any team in the NFL, I think.
I would
maybe
say
the Rams?
That's a good one.
I think I'd entertain a Rams A game versus a Chiefs A game.
I mean, well, we did see
Rams.
We did see an A game last year for the Eagles.
Yeah.
So you have to count them on the list.
I know. I just don't think they're as good of a team this year. I think their
defensive line's not nearly as
good.
No, their defensive line's not nearly as good. But I'm just saying, if they played offense the way they played in that game,
that's fair.
Well, yeah. So yeah, Rams just because of Stafford. I mean, Stafford's a dog, especially right now, man.
Stafford's dealing.
Yeah, he's dealing. Yeah, I put the Eagles on the list. I mean, like, I don't even know if A game Bills.
No,
Chiefs
don't think so.
A-game.
I think the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs A game is better than the Bills version. So. Because even their best version of offense, the Chiefs, the Bills played good defense, and the Chiefs still got in the 20s.
Why do you think Vegas still has the Chiefs at the highest odds right now?
To win the Super Bowl.
Lowest odds. But yeah, because there's a trust factor there. And you can't tell me if they get the Chiefs can make the playoffs as a 7 seed, and I'm still like, if I'm the 2 seed, I'm like, oh, crap. Like, like, they're at home, they come out of their own tunnel, and they're still like, oh, crap. crap.
I do wonder if there's like an aspect of that where I know, like yesterday, Cody sort of brought up the possibility of them winning the division. And obviously, that still is in play if they can beat Denver next weekend. But I think as a Chiefs fan, all you should want is for them to just get in the dance because
then anything can happen.
Because you know that this team, and they showed that they went on the road a couple years ago, and they could make it and win. Like, why? If they can just make it, and even if it is the 7th seed, Harold, to your point, you know that when it comes down to it, you can rely on the best quarterback and the best coach in the game.
And the other team can't.
Yes.
And this is like the point that text line said, but how often do the Chiefs play their A game and all this stuff? So I'll tell you this much, they played a whole lot more frequently in the playoffs.
When it comes to
they play
time,
B,
you know they'll be
B plus, A minus, A games in the playoffs a lot more than they play in the regular season.
I can count probably on my hand. I probably don't need my whole hand to show how many A games they haven't played.
In the playoffs, it's just
Tampa,
the Bucs and Eagles,
Philly, Cincinnati.
And
second half Cincinnati.
Second half Cincinnati played really well.
It feels like they just lock in, like no, and it doesn't matter whether they're the road team, whether they're not. It feels
second
like
half Cincinnati, first quarter Houston.
Yeah,
that's it.
A game in which they trailed by 24 and led at
halftime. Yeah.
So
and I think Cody, to your point, like what we talked about with Denver earlier in the show was, yes, they've won the games, but there is a vast difference. It's an ocean between Bo Nix and Patrick Mahomes, where when it comes down to it,
and their A games are drastically
are we sure that Patrick Mahomes, or are we sure that Bo Nix, Bo Nix is winning these games by a razor thin edge against these teams that are picking top 5 in the draft? Are we sure that fourth quarter performance is going to happen in the playoffs when the Chiefs are as locked in as they ever are? I'm not counting on that.
It's not. I mean, Denver's A game offensively has limitations to it that I don't think I've ever seen from a team that might be 8-2 before. I mean, even you go back, what was the Steelers were 11-0 not too long ago, and you're like,
and we all knew they were a joke.
This was crap, and then it was a random because it was COVID that year, I believe. It was Washington, and yes, I have recovered from that 18-inning game, by the way. Thank you.
The text line's making sure
thank you.
You're good after that World Series game.
It's good.
They don't just cancel sports at 3 a.m,
dude. There's a whole story behind that, man. We actually changed the process of what we do because of that game.
Oh, nice. So no more. You're not staying up to 3 in the morning.
I shrewdly. Sorry to change topics.
No, you're.
I shrewdly posted that on social media because it was like I want reaction. I was like, this is the first time I've ever posted. I'm like, I want reaction.
If you missed it,
I want people to comment on this.
The World Series on Fox. Harold obviously does sports.
I don't even work on Mondays usually. That's the crazy thing. Yeah.
was working the night of the 18-inning World Series game, and at the end of the 18 World Series game was still in line, and they have you do sports, or at least did have you do.
So we have a 30-minute sports show at 11 o'clock daily, Fox 4 Sports Night, shameless plug, and we usually start at 11 o'clock after the news, which is a whole hour at 10. So and we had a Chiefs game that night, so it's like we kind of had to do it. And most Fox stations don't have really, some are owned by Fox itself. We're not owned by Fox itself, but some are owned by Fox, some are owned by other companies, various companies, and everybody's kind of got their own rule. It's kind of an in-house rule. But our in-house rule is we just got to wait it out. Now we have an adjustment, whereas if it's something I think if it gets midnight, then we start recording at midnight and we just go from there. But it's that was
a long one. And then you had to turn around and teach the next day?
Yeah.
I'd have canceled class, Drew.
Yeah.
You know I would have canceled class.
Every student was every student I had, because here's the funny part. Because it went mini kind of sort of viral, some of the students knew about it. And they're like, why didn't you just cancel class? We would have been perfectly fine with that. I was like, no, because on my syllabus, I had this marked as this day I got to show up.
Of course, it lined up that way.
And the syllabus that I wrote, I was like, I can't renege what I wrote, so I'm going with it. I'm going to be there.
You're a man of your syllabus.
I
alter my syllabus all the time.
I was usually off.
We're free flowing in this
I was
class.
off on Tuesday. Well, technically, I wasn't off on Tuesday. Ha ha ha. But
yes,
technically that was my only day off that week. So I was just I was like, I'll make it. I'll get through it. And then I still couldn't get myself to go to sleep when I got back home because my wife, God bless her, God bless Marcia, she was still up. And we chatted for a bit because I think she knew I needed to debrief.
Yeah.
By that time it was 5, and she was off that week anyway, so I got lucky there. And by the time I didn't get to bed till 5:30. So my clock was a little off for the first 3-4 days. But
yeah, it's like traveling overseas, but you're
exactly,
okay.
Yeah.
You made it.
We're good.
And it was.
Well, thank you for asking. I appreciate that. That's the most caring thing I think I've saw in this text line.
They just wanted to make sure you were okay,
that's
man.
Nice of you. Yeah, I appreciate
it. It's probably a long recovery process.
But I mean, I always have the experience of knowing that whenever called upon, I can anchor a show starting at 3:07 a.m.
The longest consecutive I've ever hosted radio was 8.5 hours. That's crazy. That's my wait. Yeah, 8.5 is.
That was
my
after the
longest
Royals won the World Series, right?
Mm-hmm. Right after and they won it like right at 11 o'clock at night or something. And I was on,
like when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, I think we were there till.
And I was on the air until 7:30, something like that,
Yeah.
and then I recorded. At that time, I had a show on like a substation, and I recorded that hour-long show after I finished that. So really, I did like 10.5, and then I took a nap.
Yeah.
And then I was back on that night. So it was the same problem. It's like I was done at like 10 a.m.
I mean,
9 a.m.
We all know in this career that we've chosen, there's going to be some times where you're just going to have to turn around and go.
Yeah, and Super Bowls are typically them.
Yes.
You work crazy hard. If they win a Super Bowl, then you got to go cover a parade.
Yeah.
We took the red eye after the last Super Bowl we went to, which is the one they
the
won.
Dodgers had their parade Monday.
Yeah, I know.
What the heck?
I thought that was crazy. Yeah. Normally, Chiefs do it Tuesday, Wednesday, right?
Wednesday, yeah. Which, I mean, I was watching that and I was just like, okay, sure. When Monday? Okay.
Sucks for the people covering it.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess those guys just like it's up to the guys. Like, did they want to go home or not? Like, do they want to wait around until Wednesday to have a parade?
The answer is probably not. But
no, but the thing is,
it's a parade.
Have they had champagne on Monday and Tuesday? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I gotta say, that's why hockey's the best. They need like more trophies that you can drink stuff out of and carry with you everywhere.
I love the Stanley Cup.
Traveling trophy
Stanley
is the
Cup,
life. Yeah. Everyone gets
Those
a day.
Stars are the best. Yeah.
They take it to a school.
I mean, you'll hear like
they take it to a party, eating cereal out of it.
Great.
I mean, genuinely
You can't do that with any other big. I'll say it, Big Five.
Yeah.
I'll throw MLS in there. But you don't see it with any other Big Five trophies.
From the 816. Cody, I build custom cabinets almost 60 hours a week. We all work hard, but I was not claiming I work harder than people. Yeah. I think I've openly said I work less hard than people mostly.
Yeah.
I don't have
That's all right. My dad used to
I don't have a real job.
My dad used to drive buses back in Nashville.